Yeah. Love. To Allah we belong. To Allah we return. Know the struggle is real. Either you starve or you gon' earn. Every soul gon' taste death. Until that day, I'ma still be riding through in that spaceship, yelling, don't quit your day.
Shots ring out. People shout. Shots ring out. People shout.
How rich
Shots
am
ring
I?
out.
I still can hear the air shots from the trailer hitch on that semi. That's RT on that Glico, 33 in that Gen 5. My little niggas wiggin' and turn the beat to a rib rap. The shots rang out, heading in my direction. Baptized my hub, bringing a whole 50 guap out. We pop out at your party, free Karoo, Dooley and Shark. Puff up and learn where I'm from like I grew up in Mercer. Have on Preston bubble for the times and we ain't had no thing. You spin a deuce, shit look like I'm trying to two-track a sample. Spray your block and tag your whip up. These niggas know we got the stuff tape on the handle on the stick, lit like a Roman candle. While they keep watching reruns, I heard this show is canceled. All the business getting stood on, every issue gonna get handled, every pistol gonna get brandished.
Welcome everybody to another episode of PUWF Wrestling Talk. I am Joe BNCO, and I'm alone right now. I'm waiting on some guests. First off, we got some comments starting off the show. Mr. Rican Reactions, this is Wrestling Talk. Yes, it is. Sports Jedi Network. Thank you, BX Sports. Thank you, Kev. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about wrestling. So the Vince McMahon thing is starting to heat up a little bit. The lawyers for Janelle Grant have opened up a class action lawsuit sort of thing to where they're having other, hey, Misfit Nation, what's going on, man? If you haven't checked it out, check out Misfit Nation. Krishan the Dawn is the man. Definitely check out that his show, his podcast on YouTube. The Janelle Grant thing is definitely starting to heat up a little bit. They're starting like a class action lawsuit, asking other women to step forward, and they're building a strong case. And supposedly they've got a lot of females stepping forward onto this whole thing. This thing is going to get worse before it gets better, and I don't think it's ever going to get better. There is a train wreck coming for Vince. It's going to be really, really bad for that poor guy. So yeah, that's going on in the world of the Vince McMahon story. Let's go ahead and talk about some other things that are going on in wrestling. AEW has a pay-per-view next week. I believe it's March the 3rd. It is Revolution. And it is Sting's last match. His final match. It's going to be memorable. It's going to be Sting and Darby Allin defending the AEW Tag Team Championships versus the Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, which have been on a fantastic heel run, doing some excellent heel work. Beating up Sting and Darby, getting their white suits all bloody and beating up Sting's sons in front of him. And wrestling in those bloody suits for weeks. It's been a very entertaining thing. And I think they've been doing some of their best heel work that I've seen them do in a very, very long time. So definitely check out that. News coming out of AEW. The news coming out of AEW is the main event triple threat match that was supposed to happen between Hangman Adam Page, Samoa Joe, and Swerve Strickland. Apparently, Adam Page received an ankle injury, but it is kayfabe. It's not real. They're playing off an ankle injury because Hangman has something going on personally and needs to be out of the match. So we may be seeing a one-on-one with Swerve Strickland and Samoa Joe for the World Championship at Revolution. Only time will tell. They haven't announced it yet, but that's what's coming down through the network. Let's see. What else we got going on? World Wrestling. Anything else interesting? Charlotte Flair is making record time on her recovery and is slated to be back faster than expected. So that's also good news. Doctors are saying that she is recovering faster than anyone that they've had in their facility, and they're very impressed. She is one of the top 3 athletes that they've ever worked on in their facility. So shout out to Charlotte. Great job. Stay strong. Come back. We definitely need some Charlotte Flair in the women's division. Elimination Chamber was this morning at 5 a.m. I was awake for it, like most wrestling fans that actually want to watch it. The pay-per-view. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but it was very, very predictable. It was a very predictable pay-per-view, typical WWE pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever you'd like to call it. Let's go ahead and jump into the madness that is this Elimination Chamber match, Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So, pre-show. We got started on the pre-show with the Kabuki Warriors defending their WWE Women's Championships versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And most people know Indy Hartwell is from out there in Perth, Australia. The Kabuki Warriors were successful in defending their WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. They defended them successfully. Let's go ahead and get to that match. Give me some highlights here. Bleacher Report gives the match a B- grade. Yeah, I mean, I'd give it a B or a B-. It was a decent match. All 4 women did a good job. They definitely had a strong showing against the Kabuki Warriors, but in the end, we kind of knew the Kabuki Warriors were going to retain going into WrestleMania time. Let's see. Notable moments were Candice LeRae springboard moonsault. We went from that match and we started the pay-per-view off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which consisted of Becky Lynch, Naomi, who actually started the match. Becky Lynch and Naomi started the Elimination Chamber. Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, and Bianca Belair. The third person to enter the pod, out of the pod into the chamber, was Miss Tiffany Stratton, who looked phenomenal in this match. Definitely a strong showing for her. I know she's just new to the main roster, but she definitely had a good showing. I look forward to seeing more out of Tiffany Stratton on the main roster. Definitely a world champion. Excuse me, folks. Definitely a world champion contender. 5 a.m. came early this morning. I've been up all day. The fourth competitor into the match was Liv Morgan. The fifth competitor into the match was Raquel Rodriguez. And the final entrant into the Elimination Chamber, Women's Elimination Chamber, was Bianca Belair. So, eliminations went as follows. Naomi was eliminated by Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton was then eliminated by Liv Morgan. Raquel Rodriguez was eliminated by Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair was eliminated by Liv Morgan. And it came down to Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, and Liv Morgan was eliminated by Becky Lynch Becky Lynch is your winner of the women's Elimination Chamber match. She is going on to WrestleMania to face Rhea Ripley or Nia Jax, the winner of the main event of the card that we're going over. Either way, it would no matter who wins that match, it would work well for Becky Lynch because she has kind of a feud going with both of them. Match, Bleacher says the match was fantastic. It was start to finish. It was a good match. Very strong outing for all the women involved. They gave it an A grade, which I don't disagree with. I believe the women deserved it. They put on a hell of a show. Let's see. What's good? Sorry, folks. And we'll go to the next match. We had the Judgment Day versus the New Catch Republic for the WWE Unified Tag Team Champions. Finn Balor and Damian Priest taking on Pete Dunne and the big strong boy Tyler Bate. And we had a pretty good showing from both teams. We had a really strong showing from Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, the New Catch Republic, to where you actually believed that they were going to win the tag team titles on numerous occasions. But in the end, the Judgment Day retains the tag team championships by beating the New Catch Republic. Grade was a B+. Finn Balor picked up the W for his team with a coup de grace to Pete Dunne. Next match, we had the men's Elimination Chamber match, which included Drew McIntyre and LA Knight, who were the first two to start off this chamber, followed by Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul. Owens came in third, Lashley fourth, fifth was Orton, and the last pod was Logan Paul. The eliminations of the competitors were as follows. Drew McIntyre eliminated Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre eliminated LA Knight. Randy Orton eliminated Kevin Owens. Randy Orton eliminated Logan Paul. And Drew McIntyre eliminated Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre is your winner of the men's Elimination Chamber match 2024 and is going on to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Grade got an A-. It was a good match. Excuse me, folks. A lot of interesting things happened in that match. One of them was Logan Paul in his pod drawing devil's horns with a marker on the pod glass, and then drawing Kevin Owens sucks and saying, "Yeah, this guy right here," and pointing at Kevin Owens who was on the ground, and then drew a stick figure of a fat man and saying, "This is actual life. This is actual to scale." He's like, "This is real." And then Kevin Owens getting in the pod and bashing Logan Paul's head off of the side that he had all the drawings on. Definitely entertaining. I was rooting for Randy Orton to win. I really wanted to see Orton and Seth. That would have been a really good match. In the long run, though, they were pushing for Drew because Drew has a lot of heel heat right now, so why not? CM Punk. commented to Drew McIntyre and told everyone to keep buying those McIntyre shirts where he's making fun of CM Punk because CM Punk's making more money on those shirts than Drew McIntyre is. um, Notable moments. Kevin Owens headbutting the pod to intimidate Logan Paul was funny. LA Knight had pyro for his entrance, but the camera didn't see it. Lashley put Paul and Owens through different pod doors with spears. Both spots definitely hurt everyone involved a bit. AJ Styles showed up and hit Knight with a chair several times to cause his elimination by sneaking into the cage while Lashley was leaving. Paul's crossbody off of the top of the pod looked good. And those were the notable moments from the men's Elimination Chamber match. And the main event, the hometown girl, Rhea Ripley, defending her Women's World Championship against Nia Jax. Everyone had thoughts about this match, and I mean, the main event, it was the main event, so it had to have happened. But in the end, Rhea Ripley defeated Nia Jax to retain her championship. The grade got an A minus. So all in all, a really good card. 1B out of the entire card, the rest were all A's. The pop for notable moments where the pop for Rhea Ripley's entrance was great. There was a moment when it looked like one of Ripley's piercings may have been ripped out by accident. The way Jax's head hit the turnbuckle when Ripley dropped her onto it looked a bit rough. Jax putting the Australian through the announce table was a bit anticlimactic. And Ripley's superplex looked really good on Nia Jax. So, I mean, notable moments. I mean, it was a good card. I mean, it was a strong card. It was in pretty much an overall A. Overall A card for Elimination Chamber 2024 in Perth. Successful show for WWE, and we could talk more about the other things that are going on, like Cody Rhodes calling out The Rock. Cody Rhodes called out on the Grayson Waller effect, called out The Rock. Seth Rollins had a little making fun of Roman Reigns with the finger and stuff, poking a little fun at the bear. And then Cody challenging The Rock to a one-on-one match. I don't know when they're going to do that or how they're going to do that, but it's out there now. So you're probably going to see Cody Rock night 1, Cody Roman night 2, which is odd because you would think we would see Rock and Roman at some point, but I don't know if they're going to do it at Mania or if they're going to save it for SummerSlam. I don't know. Or are we going to see Cody Rock night 1, Rock Roman night 1, and Roman Cody night 2? You know, what's going to happen? Is Roman going to wrestle twice? Rock going to wrestle twice? And Cody going to wrestle twice? I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's talk more about. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to get my notes up. Let's talk about AEW. We'll go over Dynamite from this week. So, Dynamite had 2 very memorable matches. One was Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR. Was the opening match to Dynamite this week. It was a strong show. Definitely a strong opening contest tag match. FTR and BCC. That's just, they're both very talented and very strong teams. Both teams beat the shit out of each other. Let's see. We also had Tony Storm wrestle in a match. Deanna Prazo was in a match, but they were like throwaway matches. The main event saw Brian Cage, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland versus Hook, Rob Van Dam, and Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Let's go to the opening match for the tag titles, or not tag titles, tag match with BCC and FTR. So, both teams wrestled to a time limit draw, which, that happens sometimes. The match got an A minus, which was really good grade. Tag match, good grade, A minus. Notable moments were the opening with Wild Thing is a great way to get the crowd in the right mindset for the evening. The spot with Moxley and Wheeler, where headbutting each other, was good, but didn't make a ton of sense. Castagnoli was so casual as he walked up to Moxley to save him from Harwood on the outside. It was pretty funny. Wheeler's hot tag sequence after the break was awesome. The dueling sharpshooters was a fun spot. All in all, it was pretty good match. But again, time limit draw. Mike Bennett took on Orange Cassidy for the AEW International title, which in the end, obviously, Orange Cassidy defeated Mike Bennett. Gray got a B minus. Notable moments: Orange Cassidy being more aggressive has been so good for his character progression. Whatever, he's fucking Pockets. Pockets. Look, I'm fucking Pockets. I'm gonna win titles. Oh, I'm gonna be this guy. Fuck Pockets. That's right. I said it. Fuck Pockets. Ain't no one defending Pockets tonight. The suicide dive from Pockets was filmed well. AEW used a good angle, so it was a surprise to viewers at home. And those are the little moments. And then we go into Ruby Soho and Angela Parker were shown leaving for their date. Let's see. This was the definition of a squash match. Tony Storm used Deanna Purrazzo's signature Venus de Milo submission to get a quick win. Grade is incomplete. Tony Storm wins. Before Tony Storm was gone from ringside, Purrazzo made her way to the ring to upstage. Her opponent for the night was AEW coach Madison Rayne. They shook hands before locking up to show mutual respect. Unlike the previous bout, this was a competitive fight between two experienced wrestlers. The pace was a bit of a slowdown, but most of what they did looked great. The bout may have been a better fight, but the outcome was just as predictable as Storm's was. Purrazzo is preparing for her first AEW title shot, so there was no way she was going to be booked to lose this close to the pay-per-view. Unfortunately, a late match botch that led to Rain falling right on top of her head took the wind out of the contest sails. She was able to finish the match, but it was only a moment later. Let's hope she is all right. Result: Deanna Purrazzo defeated Madison Rayne to a C+. Tony Storm being billed from stage 7 at Warner Studios is hilarious. Keeping Storm in black and white while showing Purrazzo in full color in the same shot is such a simple but effective way to use her gimmick. The spot with Rain falling on top of her head was scary. And then we go to the main event, where we had Samoa Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage versus Hook, RVD, and Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page, I know, has been pushing a lot of heel buttons. I think he's going to become a heel very shortly. The match got a B plus rating. Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Brian Cage defeated Hook, RVD, and Adam Page. Notable moments. Wardlow came to the ring and gave a long rant about not getting the opportunities he deserved before this match. This was a big thing. Wardlow, we'll get back to the Wardlow thing in a second. It's been great to see Brian Cage getting more matches on AEW TV. He's a talented performer with some unique qualities for a powerhouse. RVD has so many signature moves that he can fill a few minutes of a match just with those. Wardlow. All right, let's talk about Wardlow now that I've read the notable moments. Wardlow had some comments when he came out, and he said that he's tired of being avoided. He's beaten the so-called best in the world, obviously poking at CM Punk. He said that he destroyed the so-called best in the world so bad that his body's still falling apart. He also commented and said, and he's like, and then the other guy that's better than you, and you know it, yeah, I beat that guy too and destroyed him. And those were both, and he was like, those were both AEW champions. He's like, and then we go on to Samoa Joe. And he called him the most dangerous man in wrestling or something. And he said, and we know what happened the last time me and the most dangerous man in wrestling got in the ring. Yep. I was standing tall again and destroyed him. Which, if you go back in history, he has a point. He really did. The last 3 world champions he's destroyed and beat them all. So do we deny this, or are we going to look to give him a world title shot? Because he deserves one. If Adam Page is not able to compete at Revolution, why not put Wardlow in his place to have it still a triple threat? I think that would make great sense. And hang on, folks. Let's see, what else do we got here? Let's see here. Let's see. So the total show got a C plus. It's not terrible. Now we'll go to AEW Rampage. Here we go. That's the wrong one. There we go. Okay, AEW Rampage from Friday night. We had Anna Jay versus Mariah May. The Young Bucks versus the Cappuccino Jones and Johnny Lyons. Roderick Strong versus Jake Hager. Private Party and Matt Sydal versus Brian Keith, Commander, and Penta El Cerro Miedo versus Action Andretti and Top Flight. It was a trios 3-way, which was a very interesting match. So it started off, we had match number 1, Penta El Cerro Miedo, Commander, Brian Keith versus Private Party, Matt Sydal, and Top Flight, and Action Andretti. Very, very high-flying match. Lots of high spots. Lots of apron moves. There was a lot going on in this match. But in the end, we had our winners, Penta El Cerro Miedo, Commander, and Brian Keith. The rating got 3 stars, exactly the car crash spirit you thought it would be. Nice to see Penta get the win. Get the win though, finally. Renee was there with Soraya and Harley Cameron. Soraya doesn't give a shit about Ruby, and Zodiac Zach Knight is now all elite, which is Soraya's brother. Soraya wanted to set him up with Ruby, but now she lost her chance. Things are going to get spicy around here, she says. Young Bucks versus Johnny Lyons and Cappuccino Jones, which was a squash match, very much a squash. Young Bucks were the winners. Rating got an NR, not rated. Then we got fed momentarily cut out. The feed momentarily cut out, and we returned to Sammy Guevara, laying the boost to Powerhouse Hobbs. Sammy has a chair and hits Hobbs across the back and for the stomach, but Hobbs spinebuster Sammy. Another spinebuster, world's strongest slam versus Don, as Don Callis' family stands tall. Sky Blue is pacing in the back, and she's not happy. Julia Hart shows up and tries to talk her off the ledge, but Blue wants something to grow, someone to grow some balls and step up to fight her. Match number 3, we had Anna Jay versus Mariah May, which was an okay match. Mariah May was the winner. She defeated Anna Jay. Got a 2-star rating. Renee was there with Ruby and Angela Parker. The date was great. Apparently, Ruby says Zach is a poor man's Tom Hardy. Ruby tells Soraya she has a problem now, and she's going to shove this right down her throat. Match number 4 was Roderick Strong with the Undisputed Kingdom versus Jake Hager with Hornsby. Match wasn't too bad. Dr. Hager, Cassie hit Hager with a doctor bomb. In response, ankle lock, tavern roll Cassidy. Roderick Strong was the winner, rating at 2.5 stars. Fine match. People are questioning the validity of the match to a TV audience. So yeah, that was Rampage. It really wasn't much of anything. It was an hour show. So Collision starts in 18 minutes. Let's see, TNA. Okay, we had TNA, No Surrender. Which took place on February 23rd, 2024, which is yesterday. Let's see. So it looks like we're going to have the Rascals. The Rascals defeated Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, in Trent 7 after Steve Macklin interfered, and Mike Bailey takes the loss. Countdown. Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers defeated Kevin Knight and Kushida. Myers hit roster cut, followed by Edwards hitting Boston Knee Party before Myers pinned Knight for the win. TNA World Title #1 contenders match: Frankie Kazarian versus Eric Young. Frankie Kazarian demanded that he be introduced as the King of TNA. They stay evenly matched early on, tossing each other around the ring. Kazarian lands with a few suplexes before nailing a slingshot cutter. He went tries for a pile driver, but Kazarian hits fade to black instead, while Kazarian argued with the ref over their near fall. Eric Young planted him with a crucifix bomb, and the ref counted 3. Eric Young defeats Frank Kazarian and is the new #1 contender for the World Championship. After Kazarian beat down the referee for a couple of minutes until more officials came out to chase him off. Match 3 for the TNA World Tag Team titles. ABC, the champions, versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. ABC are your champions, still retaining their titles. PCO versus Khan. Khan meets PCO on the ramp, start the bout. PCO takes him to the ring, throws him corner to corner. PCO goes through the dive. Khan strikes him down, choke slam. PCO wins the match by DQ. That kind of sucks. Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. We had Decay versus MK Ultra. Masha and Havoc duke it out. Masha and Havoc duke it out as Rosemary and Kelly also spill outside, back inside. Havoc hits a backbreaker and tags out. Masha ends up stomping on Rosemary. While the ref is distracted, Kelly gets the tag. Masha slams her on Rosemary. Quick tags from MK Ultra. Oh no. MK Ultra are your new knockout World Tag Team Champions. Decay lost the belts. Let's see. Josh Alexander versus Simon Gotch. And this match, Josh Alexander won. Kind of figured. Backstage, we had AJ Francis, former Top Dollar, confronting Rich Swann ahead of their match on Thursday. TNA World Championship, no surrender rules. Moose versus the champion versus Alex Shelley. The winner and still champion is Moose. And the next bout, it says George Iceman introduces a surprise appearance from Ash by Elegance, who takes a seat at ringside. Let's see. TNA Knockouts World Championship was defended. Jordan Grace, champion, defended against Giselle Shaw. Shaw immediately dips out of the ring and runs around trying to escape Grace. Shaw tries for a clothesline but gets thrown against the ring apron. Looks like I'm going to guess Jordan Grace. Yep, the winner would be Jordan Grace. Looks like more strikes from Grace proceed to the Juggernaut Driver for the 3 count. Jake something cuts a promo on the X Division main event. He says 2024 is the year he takes the X Division title. TNA Sacrifice takes place in 2 weeks on March 8th in Windsor. X Division Championship match was Chris Sabin versus Mustafa Ali. This was probably a really good match. I did not get to see No Surrender. I gotta subscribe to the app because it's the cheapest way of doing it. And the winner of the match and new X Division champion, Mustafa Ali. Wow. Ali celebrates to close the show. Huh. interesting way to close the show. Huh. So, that was the No Surrender pay-per-view. Doesn't seem like a bad pay-per-view. Seems like it was pretty decent. I'd like to go back and watch that main event, Mustafa Ali and Chris Sabin. I'm sure that was a really good X Division match, and a couple of the other matches. Excuse me. I could definitely see some of those matches on that No Surrender card. Yeah, that's most of wrestling right there. I've pretty much covered TNA, AEW, Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Talked about the Vince allegations and what's going on with that. Injuries. There's a lot of damn injuries. I don't know. I guess I just got to figure out what other wrestling's going on here. Seeing if I missed anything. See ya. Let's see. Let's see what else I have in my. See what else I got in the rumor roundup. Here we go. Let's see. Collision tonight is supposed to have Bryan Danielson versus Akiyama. Looks like Hobbs is supposed to take on Sammy Guevara tonight on Collision at 10. And let's see here. Trying to get the card post. I know they were talking about CM Punk. They want to keep CM Punk. They want to continue using CM Punk for microphone work. So they're probably going to have him on a commentary or announcing or special guest host of WrestleMania or something to keep him working. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. It's going to be a great match. Danielson and Akiyama is going to be a fantastic match that's on tonight. I'm looking forward. That's one of the matches I'm very much looking forward to. Who do I think will headline WrestleMania? Night 1 or night 2? It's a big difference. Night 1, if they're smart, which when the hell is WWE smart? If they're smart, I would do Rock Roman night 1 main event, Cody Roman night 2 main event, night 1 I would do Rock Roman. And if they're not going to do Rock Roman night 1, then what the hell do if they're not doing that? I mean, they could do Seth and Drew as the main event, but I just don't see that as the main event marquee match. I think that main event marquee matches need to be main event marquee matches. I feel like night 1 should probably be Rock and Roman, but if not, they could always do Cody and Rock as main event and have Cody main event both nights of WrestleMania. Or if they want to do it for Roman, they could have Roman main event both nights of WrestleMania. Have a main event against The Rock on night one, and the main event against Cody on night two. I think that would work too. And it'll give him another record or milestone or whatever you want to call it. So, looks like we might have a guest. Oh, we do have a guest.
Hey, Mr. Joe BNCO.
Look, the Invisible Man.
Sorry about that. I saw that no one was passing by. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming back next week, bringing the PWF stronger than a tank through Germany. But today, I thought, did you by yourself? I just jump in. Ladies and gentlemen, the disclaimer, I am drunk like a skunk. I've been drinking 1925s because they're on sale where I live. So I've been just getting drunk. So pardon whatever I say. This does not include or the trust of Joe BNCO, yada, yada, yada. Disclaimer, disclaimer. So, Mr. Joe BNCO, I was going to ask you, what are your thoughts on Punk commentating? Because obviously he's hurt again. Surprise.
I like the fact that they're going to use him for commentating because he does a good job.
Of course.
He's good on the microphone. He's got experience doing it on news shows and UFC and wrestling. I mean, he's got a vast audience when it comes to commentating on different things, and he does a good job keeping the audience involved.
Of course. Of course. Now, did you already talk about the card of Elimination Chamber?
Yes. I ran through the Elimination Chamber card. I ran through AEW Rampage and Dynamite. I ran through TNA No Surrender pay-per-view.
Jeez. Okay, you went through the whole shebang bang. Okay.
I'm on a roll.
Off, I know you're on a roll. First off, I want to give a shout out to Dennis Shea, aka D-Walk. I want to give a second to give him shout outs. Wednesdays at 9:30 or 10:30, depending on when he is ready to go. Welcome to NXT Time with D-Walk. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and space and time, we have Krishan the Don from the Kayfabe Cartel live. How are you doing, sir?
Hello, everybody. I am here representing the most dangerous podcast in sports entertainment. Also, America's most dangerous podcast. That would be Misfit Nation podcast.
Thank you.
Hello, guys. How are you guys?
Hey,
doing good.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you guys all year, I don't think.
No, that's kind of the thing that you've been doing. You've been going hard on the Misfit Nation podcast on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, and everywhere else you can find them.
Absolutely. Trying to keep up with you guys.
You got. Yeah, we got to spread our wings. We got to hit the OnlyFans next.
Oh,
ooh.
Hey.
OnlyFans podcast.
Joe BNC OnlyFans, huh?
Yeah. Exactly.
Might as well. The Rock's got the John Cena's got one.
John Cena has an OnlyFans?
Right. Yeah. John Cena's got an OnlyFans promoting his new show.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Am I loud or am I too loud or too low? Am I good?
No, you're perfect. You're perfect. You are perfect.
Oh,
sir.
Thank you. I know I am.
I'll kiss my ass. Anyway, Joe BNCO, you got the mic. Have fun. Visible Man out.
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good. Why does Alex always leave when I get here? That's what I
Whenever
like.
anyone comes in, he leaves.
Oh, okay. He was just sitting in for a second.
Yeah, he just popped in for a second. I haven't talked to Alex. That was the first time I've actually spoke to Alex in weeks. He's been on hiatus.
Ah, I see. Yeah,
So
man,
how's things?
I'm good, bro. I'm just just living life, working, making content, living the American dream. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
How about yourself? How you doing?
working like a government mule, like crazy, working crazy hours, working. What was it last week? Last week, I know. One of the days I worked almost 20 hours.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
And wait, in one day?
Yes.
Holy Christ on a stick. Oh man. And you're here
Working,
and
man.
and this is what people need to understand. I know this is like a boring conversation to people, but Joe BNCO is doing that and then making content for you people. Give it
Yep.
up. Give it up.
I take it 2 hours. Sometimes I take it to like the Thursday night. Was it Thursday night? We did NXT time with D-Walk, and we were a little late starting NXT time with D-Walk. I didn't know he was unable to get on. I thought Invisible Man was getting on, but there was a miscommunication, and I actually got on at like 11 or 12 o'clock at night with Mr. D-Walk. We did the podcast like 11 or 12 at night.
Nice.
And
That's
went to sleep.
dedication, man. Dedication.
Yeah. Got 2-3 hours sleep, got up, went to work again.
Yeah. Well, let's well, sorry, let me let you control the show. I get
You got it, man. Wrestling. What
in the host
you been
mode.
watching? You've been watching?
I haven't been watching as much as I should, being a wrestling host, podcast host, but I did catch Elimination Chamber. I watched it like literally just before. I was gonna get on with you earlier. Well, try to get on with you earlier, but I was finishing the show. So
I was up at 5 a.m.
yeah, I heard you were watching. You weirdo.
Up at
you,
5 o'clock in the morning after what?
I was gonna say, what are you, a wrestling fan or something?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a mark half the time. I don't know. Not to take a jab at the other guys that used to do that show. But yeah, I got up this morning. I was like, well, let me check this pay-per-view out, because if I don't see it now, I'm gonna have to really wait, because they don't let you watch it like right away like they used to.
Right.
So I got up and watched it, and I was like, okay, the show's not too bad. It's okay. Someone looks like somebody's here. Oh my God.
Oh, we gotta.
What's up, boys?
We got Eric the Joker,
Hello, Eric the Joker.
Hey,
a member of the Off the Top Rope podcast crew, here
damn right,
visiting.
Wrestling Asylum, boys. It was good to see you. Shout out to Alex for the invite. I had to come say hey. So, what's the topic of discussion, fellas? Or as Cody Rhodes would say, what do you guys want to talk about?
What did Cody want to talk about at Elimination Chamber?
Well, from what I understand, he wanted to talk about the bitch slap The Rock gave him and called them out. I think this is going to be an interesting dynamic going into Mania. The way I would have booked it, given with The Rock now being in the scenario, is night one. It's Rock and Cody, but there's a catch. Rock wins. He goes on to night two to battle Roman for the belt. But if Cody wins, Cody still keeps his title shot, but guess what? Because The Rock is now considered the high chief, Rock has no alternative but to ban Heyman, Solo, all outside interference of the bloodline, including himself. No involvement. It's Cody and Roman one-on-one. And the moment anyone gets involved, Roman loses the belt.
I'm going to see
one-on-one.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could see that too. But I think that they're going to break history. Either one of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to get Cody and Rock main eventing night 1, and Roman and Cody main eventing night 2. So Cody will main event both nights of WrestleMania.
Well,
That'll be history.
Yeah, he'll be the first to ever do that, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
but at the same time, you have a catch-22 situation here. All right, and it's in the background, and I alluded it to today on my show, The Wrestling Asylum. We're not giving Bailey her due. There's still an issue there. All right, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. She's kind of the underlying diamond that we've almost missed. Because remember, the last number of WrestleManias she's been in, it was always a fatal 4-way. It was a tag. It was a this. It was a that. She's never been one-on-one.
Not to take a jab at at performers of the female persuasion, but
no, I'm not. I'm saying we need.
It's a women's match.
Well, not only that, Bailey, like I love Bailey. Don't get me wrong, but
hey,
she's
cue
not.
the old
she's
music
not,
and the guys jumping in the crowd to it.
It's a women's match. Come on.
No, I
Well, the
agree, I
women
totally
have been
agree,
tearing it
Joe.
up. We got to admit that.
But not only that, like Joe is right, but to put a women's match in that level, like that.
No.
caliber,
I'm saying at
it
least
has to
put
like
them in
garner
the
more.
semi-main event.
But you can't put them ahead of Rock and Cody.
No,
Like,
no.
I don't think
If
it's a
you're having
problem.
Rock and Cody main event night 1, have them go on second to last.
No, I think what you're saying, I disagree just because I don't think it's such a big problem where it's like going to cause some kind of stir or anything. Like I don't even think the fans will care.
They said that 13 years ago about one man, and look what happened.
Wait, who are you talking about?
Phillip Brooks.
Yeah, but that's a man.
Yeah, again.
I'm not. Take gender out of the equation. Take it all out of the equation, bro.
You can't.
Right? It wouldn't matter even if it didn't matter. Would you say that shit if it was AJ Lee?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
I'd say it if it was China.
Oh, that's blasphemy words right there.
I'd say it if it was Charlotte. I mean, shit.
Oh,
honestly,
shit.
yeah, and
I think we'll
Charlotte
all agree Charlotte's the one exception where we go. Piss
And
break.
I actually disagree, Joe. I think Charlotte is the one that I would accept in the main event, depending on who she's going against, though, and what the story is. Like it's, you know what I mean. There has to be context to it.
Becky and Rhea in the main event actually is a bigger match than Io and Bailey.
I could
on
see
paper.
Yeah, I agree.
like back-to-back scenario.
I mean, they're going to have to do one women's match on one night and one women's match on the other night to split them up.
Probably. My only thing is, I was kind of disappointed in Chamber today a bit because everything was somewhat predictable. Going into the Chamber, I already knew, I was like, Becky's winning that shit, and with the men's, I'm like,
that was a disappointment.
Leading to Drew, I was like, there was no. How's this going? What would have thrown me for a loop?
Orton won.
Orton or LA Knight truly shocking everybody.
LA Knight should have won it.
In my opinion, their reigns for the last 4 years has made me want to go to massive shit right on Vince McMahon's front yard, let alone on his fucking head, and go, this is what the fans think of you.
Well, here's the problem, and the biggest problem is that I think they're going to put LA Knight versus Logan Paul.
Oh, fuck that. No, please, God, no. That's a
I'm getting more of the vibe.
That shit last year.
I'm getting more of the vibe they might
fucking year.
What do you think they're going to do, AJ Styles?
I'm thinking they're going Roman, not Roman. I'm sorry, Randy Orton
versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
No, I still think you need to pay off Logan and but I think what you do, if it's me booking, get to Mania, put the U.S. Championship on the line, Have Sami Zayn screw Logan Paul.
Have
I mean,
Sammy.
that would.
Have Sami in the U.S. Championship.
Wait,
I
against
don't
who
know.
though?
I don't
Have
know though.
Kevin Owens win with Sami Zayn
Oh,
belt.
okay.
Because
don't know.
what'll happen is you can start something fresh where Sammy's like, okay, you got your moment. Hey, tomorrow night, you feel like having another one, and it's you and me in an impromptu match. There you go. You don't see it coming.
I feel like Logan Paul.
He's
And
trying.
I'm not knocking the guy because he's very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He has overperformed in every scenario that they've put him in.
And over
He's done
delivered.
he's done excellent. I mean, for being a guy that's just kind of stepped into this, he's doing an excellent job. Like him or hate him, he's done an excellent job.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Monday Night Raw, side note, I did not expect the call out I saw on Raw.
Which one?
Let's put it this way. Get that Irish bastard on an episode of Monday Night Raw, the ratings will go through the fucking roof. You
Talking
will
about Sheamus?
McGregor to walk to the ring.
Oh, Conor McGregor. You're talking about that guy.
Yeah, if the guy that called him out gets his answer from McGregor on an episode of Raw, the whole world wouldn't know what to do.
Or they book it for WrestleMania.
That's where it would have to go.
I think that's where you go to have him answer the challenge.
They could have the match on WrestleMania. They could make an octagon and have the match on WrestleMania.
They won't do it. Dana White separate. He doesn't mind the traditional crossover. I think what you could do to keep the two entities, separate to an extent, but promote in this way is let's get to WrestleMania. Our buddy there is calling out McGregor again. And nothing happens. All of a sudden, McGregor's UFC music starts playing, and you're like, oh, okay, they're fucking with us. Out of nowhere in the audience, he jumps, hits the ring, and there is a full fucking no touch. It's a full fucking stare down. Dana White has had to rush the ring to make sure that these two don't try to kill each other before he can figure out when he's going to book the match, book the fight. But it's a full-blown promo stare down at WrestleMania, and you're sitting there going, that casual fan that's a UFC fan is then going to turn around and go, okay, I need to see what's going to happen the rest of the weekend and find out what happens on Raw.
See, and another thing that a lot of people are talking about, and I haven't spoke about on this show yet, but tonight, which is The Rock and Stone Cold has been talked about.
Well,
to do what?
No,
wrestle.
Because
Ah.
Yeah, I know.
It's
After
funny.
last year,
leave it where it is.
Hang on. Joe, you brought that up, and it's funny that you did. Because I did some digging, and I had heard the same thing. Well, if we're going to... This is how I would have booked it. Stay with how Cody was. I would have done it where Cody comes out tonight and goes, Rock, you weren't the only motherfucker that I was seeking counsel from. You see, you can call me Cody, me and my fans crybabies and whatever, but this year's WrestleMania is in Philadelphia, and that you and for Roman, respectively. If I recall, for you, Roman, it's where you, Dwayne, had to go bail his ass out. And then he ended up just getting taken to Suplex City, bitch. That at me.
My question is that...
And then, hang on. And then the other half of it would have been, hey, Dwayne, it's funny. 25 years ago, you were the World Wrestling Federation world champion going into WrestleMania in Philadelphia. If I do, I'd rethink my situation because there is one phone call I have to make to one specific number. The man that whipped your ass 25 years ago in Philadelphia to become the new world champion. 3-16.
Do you think that we're going to see Austin maybe have a run-in or be there maybe protecting Cody?
I think what you could do, this is how I could see it playing out. So it goes one of two ways. The first way, without Austin. Roman somehow through all Rock loses. Cody's going to the main event. Rock's pissed. But Rock keeps his word. Way through the match, we see a run that nobody anticipates. And so baggy, you don't know who the guy is. Roman gets knocked out. Cody's already down. Roman gets knocked out. All of a sudden, you get the rock bottom and the people's elbow. Somebody throws Cody back in. The guy takes the hoodie off, and it's Rock. And he's standing there telling Cody, yo, finish him. 2 crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Cody gets his moment. Next night on Raw, Roman's throwing a pissy fit. Rock comes out and goes, Roman, did you really think that you're stupid? The Samoan elders contacted me to have to deal with you. And in order to do that, I had to talk to Grandma. I had to talk to Cody's mama, my mama, yo mama. I had to call yo daddies. He looks at Roman and goes, in Las Vegas, WrestleMania 41, I'd recommend you don't ever, for the next 12 months, claim to be a tribal chief. Because in Las Vegas, tribal combat. I'll see you there, cuz.
You know, I have to disagree because I'm just not fully convinced that this is leading to a Rock. Well, it'll eventually lead to a Rock turning on Roman, but I don't think it's going there right away. I think they're gonna stretch that out for a lot longer.
I think they're.
I'll tell you.
They're gonna do it at Mania, and I'll tell you why. Because I know somebody that knows someone on the inside, and they told me last year at WrestleMania, and this almost rings identically. Excuse me 1 second. I got to turn the camera off for a sec because I got to switch shirts real quick, but I'll still be here. Basically, what happened is this. Everybody remembers when the infamous night where Brock Lesnar broke the streak, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, what people do not know was going into that night, Undertaker was still being booked to win the match. Day of, 3 hours before showtime, is when they changed the finish. Vince had went to Taker to change his mind. Last year at WrestleMania, it was already written that Cody was supposed to win. When the old fuck weaseled his way back in prior to the merger. It was during the main event itself where the finish got changed. The old man fucked Cody in the middle of the match. And it is said nobody would talk to Vince afterward. They were livid. Hunter was pissed. And all that was reported was Cody looked at the old man and went, I have a back door out of our deal, asshole, and walked away.
Which makes sense.
I don't know if I believe that, to be honest.
Believe it or don't,
Just
I'm going to tell you, though I have sources in there, and I will tell you wholeheartedly, it would not surprise me that Vince would do that. Okay, when you have Undertaker confirming that they did not change the finish of the match till 3 hours before Mania 30 kicked off, if that
Paul Heyman.
point,
this is the part that I don't believe is I don't believe that Cody would be that unprofessional about a finish of a match. I think he's more of a student of the game.
No,
where
he has been pushed there once before.
And he left and he started his own company. He's not the type of guy that'll sulk and bitch about something. I mean, I don't think he would even like disrespect Vince McMahon like that. That just sounds like that doesn't sound.
Well, I can
Cody.
It doesn't sound like Cody to me.
Go back to Mania 34. Remember when Roman lost to Brock?
Yeah.
Okay. For many of you that probably don't know, is what happened after the show was off the air. Brock threw the belt at Vince, and Vince went, hey, asshole. It was after that, Meltzer confirmed it, and 5 other sources confirmed it. Vince went to talk to Brock about that incident, and it was Brock that told Vince, I told you to let me drop it to him tonight, you fucking dickhead. And
yeah, but you're giving us an example of a totally different character and a different personality. I totally believe Brock did that, and I saw the video.
Brock would do that, but you can believe or not this.
I saw the video, so I don't have to believe it. I know that.
I would not.
Yeah, Brock.
That's not inside information, is what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying to you is, the examples I'm giving are this. I would not put it past a talent that gets screwed during the middle of a match when you are under the impression that you are going over, that the match is changed while you're having it. It's one thing if you're getting injured and you're going through those where, okay, you break an arm, you break a leg, you fuck up your neck, whatever. Those things are understandable, but when you're changing it
but this is all hearsay is what I'm saying. There's no like evidence that was changed in the middle. I honestly don't even believe they would change a WrestleMania finish in the middle of the match. I could see that happening like right before they go out. And what I'm saying is hearsay as well. So it's like we're just kind of
I'm telling you what I've read, what I've heard, what was said. Take with it a
Yeah.
grain of salt.
Yeah. Say I've read the same stuff. I just don't always believe
I'm giving you
the word
tell that I received. Take
I listen to
salt. Do your due diligence.
I listened to Paul Heyman, what he said about the whole thing too. Paul Heyman talked about that night at a live. I don't know what you want to call it. It was like a shoot. Yeah, it was a stage show. And he even said, take it as you will. He said, he's like, one of two things happened. And he gave the 2 scenarios. One of them was Undertaker didn't know he was going to lose.
and
Brock just
Lesnar.
and couldn't stop him because it's Brock, and Brock's a goddamn animal.
Right.
Brock is the alpha of our species.
Brock is a damn animal, and you really can't stop him. Who's gonna stop him?
Nobody.
Let's be real.
But you also have to take into consideration that Paul Heyman is a genius, and he's always selling selling his client.
Oh, yeah.
So that's almost
yeah.
that's very like he did that. He told that part of the story just so we could talk about it right now, and it's genius because it
It is.
it makes us really like we're selling Brock Lesnar. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where
And-
I take that with a grain of salt, even because Paul is always working.
True.
Always.
Paul's Paul.
And we love him for that.
Greatest.
I do.
Who doesn't love Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman's fucking great.
Paul Heyman deserves his own wing.
I'm actually seeing the storyline, and this is where I was going earlier with it, is that I see it going more towards like a power struggle kind of storyline where where Roman loses, but it strengthens almost the relationship between The Rock and Roman more than it weakens it. Because I don't know if that makes sense, because as we've seen the entire storyline, it's always been about family. You know what I mean? Like anytime somebody's interfered into Roman's matches, people take that as, oh, Roman's a bitch. He can't actually win the match by himself. In reality, what that's telling you, it's not a chicken shit heel storyline. It's that it's about family, and we're going to keep our family at the top by any means necessary.
Well,
And The Rock is totally with that storyline, and he's totally with that in his character. Because if you notice when they did that press conference, that gave out there was a lot of storytelling in that press conference, and I loved it. Because the Rock, the whole reason The Rock is at his wit's end with Cody right now is because he disrespected his family. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's all in it. And if you notice, hold on, real quick. If you notice when The Rock confronted Cody Rhodes, he said, when you're talking about his family, you're talking about my family. And he like beat at his chest when he said it. Like that's all really like subtle storytelling that we have to pay attention to. This isn't just The Rock is pulling a fast one on Roman. It's not that. That's why I don't believe he's going to turn on the bloodline. It doesn't make sense to me. I think it's going to a big power struggle storyline, because again, and this last thing I'll say on the press conference is, if you notice when everything broke down and The Rock slapped Cody, some of the wrestlers looked at The Rock as, okay, what do we do now? You're the leader. And the other wrestlers that weren't the bloodline looked at Triple H like, what are we going to do now, Triple H? What are you going to do? You're our leader. So it's almost like they're pitting two leaders against each other, and they have their coalition that's forming.
Okay.
And I see it going towards something like that, some kind of big war between The Rock and Triple H.
Krishan, I really saw that as well, and I really wanted to. Everybody's like, well, he can't wrestle no more. I was like, I really saw Triple H and Rock.
Triple H.
I really saw that happening.
I could see Triple H playing like accepting that he's not a wrestler anymore, but playing an authority figure, and he's done it before, and he's done a very good job at it. So I get you that, yeah, it does almost feel like it has to go to Triple H and Rock, but not if they push it as this is us like pushing the future. This is the future. We're the old guys now. We sit back and call shots. We're the bosses.
Well, hang on, because you brought up something interesting with the press conference. So let me with that for a minute.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So you say that Cody disrespected the bloodline.
No, The Rock said that.
Fair enough. Hang on.
The Rock says.
But 1 year earlier, Roman, in a promo with Cody, made one solitary promise. He would never disrespect Dusty ever.
Mm-hmm.
What did Roman do before?
Okay, let me answer this question now. He disrespected Dusty, but that's why The Rock is a heel for jumping in and going against Cody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Rock is a dick for doing that, because he should have been like, all right, well, if I made fun of your family, I opened up it's just a human thing. That's what automatically made The Rock a heel. And what also I think is really interesting about The Rock's heel turn is that it's also that The Rock broke his I'm a good positive guy persona. You know what I mean? So it was very, I love that so much, because I hate that version of The Rock, this new happy-go-lucky version, and it's almost like he was like, I've been faking that the whole time, and now I'm going to show you who the real Rock is.
Yep.
So I think that's why the heel turn was so effective without him saying even heelish things. You know, he just did one heelish thing.
Cody crybabies.
Yeah.
telling the Cody fans that they're eating chicken nuggets and then shoving them up their asses. On Pat McAfee, and then Cody came out on Monday on what was it, SmackDown or Raw, and he looks at Pat and he's like, "So what do I do with the chicken nuggets again?"
This is what Cody's so good, and a lot of people, and I tell them they go watch him after he left WWE. When he came to TNA, when he came to Ring of Honor and New Japan, and started creating what he would become known as the American Nightmare, I said, watch the evolution, go back to when he left, our evolution to now. Look what you're seeing. He is firing on all cylinders. He's finally getting what his dad always had.
Mm-hmm.
It.
Well, here's the funny thing is, and I'll give you my perspective. I was a non-believer of Cody for like a long time, even when he got back into WWE, and he's like definitely. I look at him as a top guy now. So like, and you know, I'm not trying to be a snob or anything, like, but
No,
I'm just saying.
look at the way he dresses, the way he presents himself. He presents himself professionally.
Yeah, look, I still think the neck tattoo is goofy and all that stuff, and the hair is a little weird, but it's like it makes him stand out, and it makes him look like somebody. You know what I mean? There's also something interesting that I heard in a Cody interview where he was saying that it took him a long time to get that thing that Eric was just talking about, because his father was never hands-on with him. He actually like left him alone to like fed him to the wolves. Like he didn't help. He didn't help Cody at all. Like he said that he hears all the wrestlers talk about how Dusty helped him with promos and did this, and he's like, I don't have that with my father. So because he was toughening him up. He made him the man he is today.
That could be a great heel storyline, though.
It could. It really could. A bitter Cody Rhodes about his dead father. That's amazing.
Oh my God.
Joe,
just think of the storylines of that. You know, Cody Rhodes turning on the fans, like you know, I hear all these people talking about my dad and how he mentored them and trained them and stuff, and my father pushed me aside and never gave a fuck about me and blah blah blah, like going off on Dusty. Oh my God, the heat!
Imagine Cody cutting that promo and the tears coming out of his eyes while he's doing it. That would be so amazing, dude.
Why do you think?
And do it after he becomes champion too.
Yeah, like he's cocky, like I didn't need you.
Yeah. I did this on my own.
But hang on, here's what. Do you want to know why Dusty fed him to the wolves and didn't have hands on?
Why? Why do you think?
I'll give you a good guess.
A fluff.
Dustin.
He was a horrible father.
Dustin. He go through the backstage scenery shit that he went through with Dustin.
So you're saying Christian Cage is a better father figure?
Fuck Christian Cage with a 10-foot
Christian Cage is father of the year. What are you talking about?
Christian Cage drop dead tomorrow. He's my daddy.
He's father of the year, man.
Eric,
father of hell. He's Satan light.
Did you hear the promo he cut on fucking Daniel Garcia the other night?
I thought Garcia was gonna fuck up.
He's talking about the man's dead dad.
From Buffalo, Jesus. I've met Daniel. I know him. Do not bring his family into this.
Oh, God. He said he brought up his mama, his daddy, and everything, and he was like,
death stare look so fucking bad. I had my friend text me during that promo, and my friend Erica, shout out to her. She's texting me going, Eric, yeah, you're hearing this, right? I'm like, call 911. Why? I went, look at Daniel's face. She went, oh, fuck me. I went, you've seen that look. She goes, oh, shit. She called me later that show and goes, I'm assuming Daniel's mother was not happy. She goes, Eric, I didn't know his mother knew certain words. I went, oh, shit. I guess she was a little pissed.
It was a great promo though. Like they really sold that fucking promo.
I tell you, it seems like she was pissed. Like, son, you could have at least warned me and shit. What the
Like
Daniel held his own. I'm gonna say this about Garcia. He is coming into his own well. His in-ring ability, no one can argue that. It was always finding something to get the fans behind him. He's on his path. He's not fully there yet, but he's getting there.
Is he still
Christian-
doing that goofy dance?
yes.
Once in a while.
Yes, he is. He's doing the Alex right.
The Alex Wright.
Right?
Still doing the Alex right.
He's
Hey,
doing-
Alex Wright is still memorable.
hey,
He's doing the Das Wunderkind.
Doing a little disco inferno.
Yeah.
no,
Well, this Wunderkind with the
I wouldn't give a fuck.
But I'm telling you, Christian Cage is remarkable on the mic and in the ring. And to keep a straight face during that promo last night was fucking phenomenal.
Dude, do you know how many times Christian is in the middle of a promo and himself because he's trying hard not to make himself pop?
He looks just so fucking dead serious when he's saying everything. And you're like, how are you not cracking up laughing at yourself when you're saying this shit?
I guarantee
Like,
when they get to the back, I guarantee when they get to the back of the curtain, immediately Garcia is dying and Christian is just losing it, trying to keep straight face. And Chris just looks at Daniel and goes, fuck, I don't know how much more I can do this shit before I start.
Yeah. Krishan, if you didn't see that promo, man, it's definitely worth watching it. It's like Christian even says he's like, I'll be your father. I was like,
I do have to catch up on the Christian Cage run in AEW because everybody keeps telling me about it, and I've only seen bits and pieces, and I do like everything I saw. So
I will,
dude, it's some of his best work.
If they do decide to put the belt on Garcia,
They don't. They're not going to.
Hang on, Joe. If they did, first it gives you a hell of a moment because you wouldn't have expected it. The other thing is now we're building a new young talent to find out what he's truly capable of. That is the one thing, and I said this on my show earlier. Tony Khan, over the last couple of years, has had success building talent and revitalizing certain other talent. Now, has he dropped the ball? Yes, but there are certain key talents that when they first came into AEW, like a Luchasaurus, like a Julia Hart, like a Sky Blue, you knew them, you liked them, but they never stood out. Look at what they are now. Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Momentum.
I've always liked Julia Hart and Sky Blue.
Well, gee, I wonder why. Giggity.
I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, just look at them.
Oh, I know. And, you know.
And they were talented. They were talented, though. It wasn't just their look. They were talented.
now Sky Blue used to be Blue Pants, right?
No.
Yeah.
Bates.
She had blue trunks, but yeah, she was.
I
She
remember
used to
Blue
be-
Pants from NXT.
Leva Bates was Blue Pants.
Okay, I got you.
With Simon Gotch and I
I
Haven't
believe she was
got
with
TNA now.
Enzo. She was with Enzo and Cass at one point.
No, that was Carmella.
Well,
Yeah,
where did the
that
blue
was
pants
Carmella.
thing come from? Yeah, I know that. I know that was Carmella, but I remember blue
That was-
pants in NXT. But sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
But my point is, now you have a situation where you have a young man that's on the. He's getting the fans chanting for him. If I'm Tony, I'm sitting there going, okay, they want to see him at the top. Okay, kid, let's see what you got. I'm putting the belt on him to find out, okay, let's see if you can put asses every 18 inches. Let's take that old adage of, let's see you put sell some tickets.
Yeah, but Eric, like AEW is not really selling tickets right now. So, like, what is your metric as far as like Tony Khan being this great talent maker?
I'm saying it in the most literalist of senses.
Krishan, you are right. You were right. She was in NXT for a short stint.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Eric. I'm just saying, like, I just want to
right
know
now,
what is your
tickets,
metric as far as that, like, before.
What I'm saying is, and I steal this from Phil Brooks. How do you know if he's able to sell tickets or not? You need to put this kid in that scenario. If you don't give the kid the opportunity of doing, then you're just wasting your time. The best example I will give you, MJF.
It's a bad example.
It's only a bad example because their biggest star is a heel.
Is MJF. Their biggest star is MJF.
And he's a heel. Like, that's why it does. Your biggest star has to be a baby face if you want to sell tickets.
You need a good baby face, and right now,
right.
a bitch of a time.
Say that again. You broke up.
To have happen is we need to find a baby face, and right now we don't have one.
The sad thing is that MJF was babyface.
Yeah,
he
but
started heel but turned babyface, and at the end he was full babyface.
Yeah.
How do you have Daniel Bryan, who was the I know he's a little bit past his time, but what I'm saying is the guy who created the Yes Movement, who had like fans literally hijacking the shows because we don't want anybody else but Daniel Bryan. How is he not at least like a top heel in that company drawing money? Like, there's something wrong there.
I don't know. That would be something you would have to ask. But what I'm saying is we have to start finding some diamonds. Or
they're all going to WWE, to be honest. But you're right in that they have to start finding the Coles, actually.
Ricky Stark's another one is about to leave.
Diamonds. Yeah,
Ricky
at
Starks
some point,
is probably going.
At some point, MJF is leaving, and then what?
He's not even on the AEW roster page.
Do you know?
Then what happens?
He hasn't been on the roster page since he lost.
Chris Jericho is going to go get his Legends deal at some point. Like, they're going to be in a lot of trouble in a couple years if they don't start doing what Eric's saying and creating some stars.
I mean, and that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do that, but the problem is that some of them didn't work out properly, like Jungle Boy, for instance.
Well, that's where I have to disagree with Eric in that Tony Khan, I don't think, is really that great of a talent maker, or a star maker, I should say, because he's having trouble doing that very thing.
I don't think he's the guy that's going to create the talent, superstar talent. I feel like the talent themselves are what are creating their own legacy.
Well, you do also need to have a good filter, which is what, Triple H is right now for WWE. You got to have that good filter that everything kind of goes through and gets sorted out,
But I don't know if Triple H also has history as a professional wrestler and knows the business well.
Right. And he doesn't appear to be on cocaine like the other guy.
Whoa.
I say hello to my little friend.
He doesn't look like Doc from Back to the Future all the time.
By the way, I know that I can't get sued for that because I said appears to be on cocaine.
Hey,
He appears to be under the influence of some kind of a narcotic.
Yes.
wait, Tony Khan appear under the influence of drugs. Before we do it, just like the
He's probably taking too much Adderall.
bad, okay? You shouldn't do drugs, children. Drugs are bad.
That's-
Well, I heard something that Eric Bischoff said about, I think it was Eric Bischoff said about Triple H, that, and I actually agree with it. Triple H actually wasn't really a big top star. You know what I mean? But he was such a student of the game and he knew so much that he was like, I'm not gonna ever be a big baby face. I'm gonna be the biggest heel then. Like, that's a genius thing as a wrestler to
And you want to know what's
capture.
funny?
You know what I mean?
I think, and what's funny is I think that's what Max's intent was the whole time. The problem was there are times where you can't anticipate the fans' reaction, and look what happens.
That happened with the NWO.
Oh, good Lord.
Hogan was trying to be a heel, and it backfired on everything, and the fans were cheering the NWO and booing WCW.
Yeah. And then that's another thing that became a power struggle, more or less.
Yeah.
Like,
Sting got booed. When the fuck did that ever happen? It's like Sting was getting booed because the NWO was involved. It was like, what?
Well, then I don't know if they did this purposely or they just fed into that, but then they started doing their own pay-per-views where they were like basically running it, and they were the baby faces.
It was somewhat legit.
Original.
It was good. They created their own counterculture in their own company. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And the problem is you don't have a means to do that right now.
Yeah, you do.
Tony doesn't have the right guy to pull it off.
Okay,
that's the equivalent.
That makes better sense.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't have the right guy to pull it off. You don't have the mega baby face that nobody would expect in a million years would turn on the fans.
Literally, the equivalent would be John Cena going to AEW. That's what they would do.
Way.
I know it's never going to happen.
I mean, that would be huge.
But that's the equivalent to Hogan going to WCW at that time. If you remember, Hogan was in movies at that point.
I would say The Rock too, but he's board of directors now, so he ain't going nowhere.
The Rock is not ever, But that's basically if they wanted to do a WCW kind of thing. They
had Punk. They had it.
They blew it.
They let it go. They blew it. They let it go.
Well, they screwed up. Both sides screwed up. Call a spade a spade. The Elite fucked it up. Punk should have been smarter.
But here's the thing, though.
Punk should have been more mature.
That's
I don't know
what
if
I'm
smarter.
referring to.
Yeah.
I think that whole thing was set up. I think Punk was trying to get fired so he can go back to WWE.
I think that after a while, I agree.
Well, realized when he was hurt the first time, he was backstage at Monday Night Raw. And there was a meeting between him and Triple H that was behind a closed door that nobody knows what was said.
Well, remember they put out in the news, which I called out at that time, it was a red herring, was that CM Punk got kicked out. And I said at that time, no, I guarantee you what they said is, all right, figure out how to get out of your contract and then we'll talk. Like we legally we can't talk right now.
Basically all he was saying was if I am no longer with this other company, can I come back?
Right.
And Triple H probably told him yes, but you have to get out of your other thing first.
I guarantee, because there is like a legality to that they can't really talk to other talent or something like that while they're under contract. They
can't offer them a contract.
Yeah.
But they can give them a promise that there'll be one there if that ever does happen.
Well, I'll give you an example of what you're referencing, okay? So a lot of people don't know this. Remember when Jordan Grace showed up in the Royal Rumble?
Yep.
Do you know that was by? Well, we all know the partnership now with TKO and TNA.
Yeah, Endeavor owns
Mhm.
part of TNA's
Yep.
some
Well,
or
guess
other.
what?
Oh, I
Now,
didn't know that.
well,
Yeah.
here's what some people don't know. So get ready.
Go ahead.
The powers that be, after her performance at the Rumble, there was discussion to talk with Anthem to reach an agreement to do the unthinkable.
Send Jordan Grace over to WWE.
Yep, and in exchange,
As the champion?
yes, cross promote, as in breaking the final
Ooh.
barrier.
Have her
So what, like
performing
The
on Monday Night
ultimate,
Raw.
So does that mean Monday Night Raw or does that mean like WrestleMania match? Because I think WrestleMania match
I
would be
don't know. That
more
part I don't know,
solidifying.
but what I can tell you all, and there was this massive discussion, and Hunter playing, up the whole Forbidden Door vernacular, and everybody laughing about it. It was discussed.
Oh
I don't know
man.
if it's
I believe it. I believe it.
Oh man. Just think of
but
this. Just stop and think for a minute.
think of this.
If we have
Think of the
TNA, just picture TNA guys invading WWE.
imagine if they finally got Tony Khan to get his head out of his ass,
Oh my god.
and then getting Billy Corgan up on it.
Yeah, we could have NWA, AEW, and TNA doing multiple invasions of different shows.
Honestly,
Think
I
about
could see that
that.
being like a future thing that happens. Like if wrestling like struggles at all, but WWE's not struggling enough. It would be on them to do it.
They never struggle.
WWE been wanting to do it for the better part of 6 years. Guess who's been stopping them every which way?
Vince.
So Hunter and Shane McMahon, to his credit, I don't know how many of you truly know about this, but almost bought almost legitimately bought ECW in 2000.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Well,
Yeah.
had he pulled it off, you would have gotten Ring of Honor 2 years earlier. Because that's what Heyman already was starting to see.
Why do you say that?
Because Heyman had said in an interview that had Shane pulled off buying it, at one point there was talk. Hang on 1 second. Water, give me a minute.
I know that we got the whole Heyman thing. It was the only reason that Vince got ECW was because Heyman owed him money.
Right.
And
Heyman,
even though Heyman says that wasn't the case, Vince was helping support ECW.
This is true. And Joe,
And I think that's
Heyman
also why
denies it.
he gave Heyman a job after he basically
Heyman denies all of that shit. He denies all that shit
because he's
always
too prideful.
He's working.
Well, here's something that people don't know, and Heyman has alluded to this. Okay, so for the people out there that don't probably know this, you're about to get a quick crash course. It's actually been backed up by the likes of Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, among others, and Taz, and a few others. When ECW was going under, the pay-per-view companies owed them quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And at one point, and Heyman did even say it got real close. There was to be a subsidiary through Disney that would have been able to collect on the pay-per-view debt. And it got so close, it went up all the way of the chain of the command, and 2 spots shy of Michael Eisner at the time, and they pulled out. If it got to Michael Eisner, and Eisner on a fluke had said, okay, let's go. The debt that ECW had, which was $7 million, which by today's economy is, well, if y'all start smelling sulfur wherever y'all live, I'm doing math, so start praying. Because there might be a couple explosions here and there, that type shit, some extra profanity, those type of things. But Heyman said he was already beginning to see the shift into what would become the birth of ROH. He had been scouting the likes of Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Phil Brooks, Mark and Jay Briscoe, Amazing Red, Samoa Joe. He was practically scouting Ring of Honor and TNA talent in 2000.
You know, I could actually believe that because Heyman has always been ahead of the game, and I think he could. I think he probably saw the idea that because now, as an adult, and especially seeing where the world went as far as entertainment, ECW would not have made it anyway. That brand of entertainment wouldn't have been able to be mainstream.
He was.
It was too edgy.
It was way too edgy, way too controversial, way too violent. You know what I mean? And I loved it. But
years, I agree with you. He had already began to see the shift.
Yeah.
To what Ring of Honor that we know and love would become. And he knew then, and he has said this. He said if he would have got his hands on enough funds, he almost was going to do what Bischoff would have done had Bischoff gotten his hands on WCW. Do either of you know what Bischoff's plans were? He had gotten the sale of WCW instead of Vince.
Yeah, I believe he was just gonna get funding from somebody to keep it going, basically.
Well, true, yes, but how he was going to revitalize the brand is where I'm going with this.
I've heard it, but go ahead. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so Bischoff said had he been able to buy out.
Hang on 1 second.
You're fine, Joe. WCW.
Welcome, BX Sports. Kev, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, bud?
Finally, the Sports Jedi has come back to the PUWF podcast. What's up, gentlemen? How are you?
How are you, buddy?
We are in the presence of greatness. BX is in the building. How are you, sir?
I am well. How are you guys, man? What do you guys want to talk about?
What
goddamn Cody lines all day long? Shit.
I'll put it okay, so really quick. What Bischoff was going to do was he was going to take WCW off TV for 12 to 18 months. Had he successfully been able to buy WCW and Vince hadn't gotten his hands on it, he was going to rebuild the brand from the ground up. After Russo and others basically fucked the whole thing up.
Russo's intelligent when it comes to wrestling, though.
Russo's got so far up his own taint, he doesn't know whether to piss, shit, or wind his watch some days.
Russo just needed a good filter. That's why he worked in the Attitude Era. It's just he had good filters.
Russo couldn't even survive during TNA's early days.
That's because he was at the complete control of creative.
Well,
he can't be in complete control. That's his problem. Is too much power.
And a lot of his ideas sucked.
That's what I'm saying. He'll throw out 20 bad ideas or he'll throw out 20 ideas and 3 of them will be genius. You just have to filter it and mold it a little bit, and it's great.
Well, look at how the beautiful
away. That's what I'm saying. You can't take away the work he's done. That's why I kind of get defensive of Vince sometimes, because people you could say what you want about him, especially now, but you can't take away his genius. He's made a lot of bad decisions, but he's made 1,000 good ones in turn. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying that he has not done something positive. What I'm saying to you guys is this, and you can take it with a grain of salt for what you will. Russo, when he was under the employ of Vince McMahon, had the ability to sit down and say, okay, Vince, here's 1,000 ideas. What can we use? Bischoff didn't want to work with him. How many of you watched the recent Vice documentary on Bash at the Beach 2000?
No, I haven't seen it. I actually have to watch that. I didn't know it was out.
I haven't seen that either.
By the
Oh,
way, you know Vice is done. Vice is out of business now.
actually,
What?
Yeah.
Vice is coming back with more Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, I don't think they're publishing articles anymore. I like news articles.
just
They're
the-
still making documentaries.
I think it's just the documentaries now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
they refused. I think they. I know there was a couple things that stories they wanted to do, but they wouldn't allow them to do them.
Right.
Well, Vice got really, really woke towards the end there.
Yep.
That was bound to happen. You know, better than anyone, that was bound to happen.
Well, given
Yeah.
who owned it at the time, I'm not even going to say the guy's name because I have to say it, you already know where I'm going to go with it.
Not Gavin McGinnis.
The initials are GS.
GS.
I don't know the name. I can't. George Soros?
Bingo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's a problem.
Oh, Jesus. I shouldn't have said it. Now everybody's going to go off.
Oh, well.
Let's talk wrestling.
So I'll give you a brief summary of the Vice Bash at the Beach 2000. Remember when Jarrett laid down for Hogan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wasn't supposed to go that way.
Right.
The initial idea was they wanted Hogan to go over. What people do not know, and Bischoff has said this, and others have said this, the idea was that Hogan would win and then just disappear. And after like a month, the company would strip Hogan of the gold and they would hold a tournament. Well, when they got to the finals of the tournament, which would be Jarrett and Booker T,
Yeah, Hogan was going to come out.
Hogan would come out and go, motherfuckers, till you beat my ass, this shit ain't happening. Whoever wins this, then you face me. The idea was it would be Booker would go on to beat Jeff. Booker would then go on to beat Hogan. Hogan was going to put Booker over originally. Well, Russo had met with the committee and they wanted Booker T sooner. Well, the problem was that little thing called creative control. And when you watch the documentary, and the detail on how everything went down, I see why it was the nail in the coffin to WCW. Because you want to know what the dagger to WCW was? January 4th, 1999. The finger poke of doom.
Nah.
You sure it wasn't Tony Schiavone saying that Mick Foley was winning the world title and everybody decides to go switch over to Raw?
That's a good one.
Hang on, that was the buckshot from the shotgun into their own face. That was the dagger was the finger poke. Schiavone saying that was the gunshot to the face.
I thought it would have been when Sid jumped off the top rope and snapped his leg.
Oh.
Oh, that was even worse. Or when we had
Jello
Judy
leg.
Bagwell on a pole.
Old Slim Jim leg.
Slim Jim. That thing looked like a jelly stick that was left out of the refrigerator.
Ooh,
Oh,
Sad thing is, I saw that same injury happen on AEW.
Oh, with who?
It's horrific.
With who?
Dante Martin when he first when he got injured.
When he did that
yeah.
front flip.
It was all it looked just like Sid. I was like, oh my god.
Well, look
I never thought I'd see that twice in my life.
Were you live? Did you see that live?
Yeah, it was live on TV.
Oh, I thought you meant like live in the crowd.
No, I was watching it, and when it happened, I was watching Dynamite. Dynamite was live. I was watching it. I was like, oh, it's Sid again. Oh my god.
That's what I thought too.
That's a rough one. You ever see the one where the fat backyard wrestler jumps off the rope and he snaps both of his legs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep. He snapped both of his legs the same exact time.
Jumping off the second rope.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe, you were the out of the 600,000 that watched it that day, huh?
It depends on that day. It might have been higher that day. I think that was back when Punk was still there, when the ratings were higher.
Okay. It was
800,000. 800,000. Okay.
Back when they used to break 1 million.
And you know they celebrate a year of no 1 million. I love it.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's like I don't know. They just have I don't know what they're doing over there. They can't. There's just no
Tony
leadership,
Montana took over. Tony Montana took over. He may or may not be under the influence, and he's saying, "Okay, say hello to my little friend."
Well, he's also excuse my language. He's a star fucker.
Which star did he fuck first?
Yeah, he's all of them.
He's doing Tony Storm. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh man.
Tony's married to Jim Robinson.
He's trying to buy his way into the wrestling community. It's weird. It's
it doesn't work that way though. We all know that. Come on.
Yeah.
It'd be like David Arquette. But now then David Arquette caught all that heat for what happened in WCW. And then he actually got into wrestling and earned the respect of the wrestling community.
He never earned my respect.
I don't know if he earned respect.
Did you not see some of that shit?
He let Nick Gage skull fuck his brain. Like it's
ew.
On
that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about skull fucking. I gotta get going because I'm about to. That just sounded very creepy.
He got fucked up, and all those indie matches he had, he got fucked up.
Good night, fellas.
You know
Good night,
what,
Eric the Joker.
All right, Eric. Good talking to you.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely. But one last thing, fellas, I'll say this: if Mr. Tony Montana is fucking any star, I wouldn't put it past him. Ruby Soho.
I thought you were going to say Chris Jericho.
Well, that was.
I thought you were going to say Nyla Rose.
Who? Did you say Nyla Rose?
Yeah, I did.
Best of both worlds, baby.
Oh my God. Got the visual. Good God.
He doesn't know if he's coming or going.
Who's getting the reach around first?
Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't.
Who's getting the giggity and who's getting the goo?
Tony got both. Poor guy.
Hey, can we real quick? I did want to talk because I know you covered Elimination Chamber before I got on. I have to say, yeah, and I know I kind of went along with you bashing the female wrestling. So let me just throw out the olive branch here.
Ooh.
I'm not the biggest fan of women's wrestling, BX.
Tiffany Stratton's amazing.
Whoa.
Tiffany Stratton was the star of the entire night, and I didn't even know her. I didn't care about her. And she won me over. Not only
you didn't know about Tiffany Stratton?
I heard her name before. I just haven't checked her out. Again,
Go back and watch her matches now. You need to go back and watch her shit.
I learned a big lesson. I was like, because somebody was trying to put me on her, and they were like, she's great, and I was just, I don't, But long story short, she not only won me over, but she won that crowd over completely because. I heard when she came out, there was she got a little bit of applause. She got the golf clap kind of when she came out. By the end, and when she got pinned and eliminated, they were chanting bullshit.
Yeah.
She's gonna be the future of the women's division.
Listen,
It's
me,
already been.
me watching her from her ascension into NXT, because of course I live in Orlando, Florida. I go to the Performance Center. I got to see her coming in raw green and grow up in front of my eyes, and seeing Indy Hartwell grow up in front of my eyes. And I personally, I felt like a proud older brother or a distant cousin seeing Indy Hartwell get that pop by the crowd in Australia, and seeing Tiffany Stratton getting over all the NXT women from the 2.0 era. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I started going to the Performance Weekly when the 2.0 era happened, and seeing them update and seeing them grow up in front of our eyes. To me, I felt like a proud sibling or a proud relative seeing them getting crowd go over. The women, to me, again, with the Royal Rumble as well, the Elimination Chamber made the men look small. It shows that the WWE don't need to spend all this money, or they don't need to make big business stupid decisions like the con man is doing. They have enough women talent that if Monet wants to come in and complain for 2 weeks, that's fine. They could push Deanna Peraza into Friday Night Thunder and into trash into what is it, disaster on Saturday nights. That's fine because the WWE continues to grow women. And my goodness, look at Lash Legend. I advise you, Lash Legend is an up and coming, beautiful ebony queen that she's gonna be headlining WWE, pretty much NXT, not just NXT, but WWE in a few years. Jade Cargill, and I know maybe Joe might be rolling his eyes right now, but they're gonna make her to a mega star right now, into a mega star because. Listen,
that pop she got in the Rumble, though. Yeah, I agree with you. She was freaking over.
And they just signed, and I don't care what they say. Kendall Gray, aka Mrs. Camille, former NWA World Champion, into NXT.
Camille's good.
She is going to be another one who's going to be phenomenal in the NXT brand, into the WWE brand. Shawn Michaels continue to knock it out of the park from Brittany Reese. Let's listen. WWE, when it comes to NXT, I never seen so many Caucasian women with so much cake in NXT.
I do love the meme that's going around where it's like Shawn Michaels is just going through Instagram to get new talent.
Oh my God! From Jasmine Nix, forming the kind of a Toxic Attraction 2.0. WWE is cooking. They showing you they don't need to go sign overpriced hacks to come into the company.
I think
where they could elevate some of the NIL women, or
men. I think Sean understands. I mean, look at his gimmick all those years. He understands that sex sells.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Absolutely. Look at his wife. Look at he called himself the sexy boy, for Christ's sakes. Like
he married a Nitro girl, for God's sakes.
Yeah. And if you look at his entire gimmick, it was selling sex to women. Right. So he understands that kind of world of
Playgirl magazine.
Before he got married, he got to sample the most downloaded women in AOL.
Oh.
Yep.
What a lucky bastard.
Yep.
And became the envy of wrestling fans forever.
Exactly.
At least,
exactly.
That.
But then again, I heard Brett had Sonny too. So I mean, then again, I heard half the locker room had Sonny.
She was the village bicycle. Everybody had her.
I actually believe everybody had Sonny except for Brett. I actually believe Brett was probably really a friend.
Have you seen the Vivid video?
The Vivid video?
It's a Sunny side in
she did a porn.
BX, unfortunately I did. And
it's one of those things like, did you see the China video? Yeah, unfortunately, yes. I did see that.
You feel the shame. Actually, there was no shame with her. China, that you felt shame because you felt like you could have been like the women empowerment symbol forever. She could have been the woman Hulk Hogan. And then she goes to porn. But that's different subject. I gotta say
Drugs and
this though.
alcohol do it.
Oh, the Elimination Chamber started with Naomi and Becky, and I thought their chemistry was horrible. Like it looked like
Okay.
two like mannequins wrestling each other, and they
Don't
just
They did
couldn't.
say they did comment on Naomi and Becky. Even Bleacher Report said that they started the chamber, but they didn't look great.
They looked horrible, and
It
they
was a
looked
slow
like
start.
they almost looked like they were wrestling in slow motion. Like they
But that
weren't
was
moving.
but that was the first 4 5 minutes of the match of the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
But
Wait.
the women outshined the whole men's Elimination Chamber
No.
and the whole card.
I totally agree with you, BX. I'm just saying that, like, I'm just saying two veterans going at it should have looked way better. Their moves weren't impactful. It was all like, it was just a mess. And then that's what made me notice Tiffany Stratton is because when she got in, I'm like, this unknown girl. She's new to me, and she's wrestling circles around the veterans. And the crowd even woke up. And then even when Tiffany got eliminated, you felt the crowd like die for the rest of the match. They were like,
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, being cynical, knowing Triple H and how he's cynical, could and the producers, I think that was done on purpose, where they held back a little bit because listen, you don't want to blow your load in the first 5 minutes of the chamber, and then everything else is a dud. Could it be? I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Could it have blown could it have held back here? Because let me not for nothing, that off the top rope split by Naomi was phenomenal. I was, you know what? I'm
I
like,
agree.
yo,
Yeah.
Jimmy Uso, you lucky son of a bitch. If she were to do that from the top of the ceiling fan, you lucky asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Who wouldn't let her do that to you?
Exactly.
Come on.
But you know, let's that was a great spot there. You know, Nikita Lyons, you know, she wished she could do that at times, but whatever, that's another story for another day. But let's go right back to Tiffany Stratton. She came in and whatnot put over a 24-year-old first time in a premium live event in front of a Australian crowd. The night before on the press conference on Thursday night was actually chanting for Tiffy time. She's getting over, and that's markability. That's and knowing and listening to your audience. Veterans like a Becky Lynch, who's already a made woman, horsewoman. Naomi, who's traveled the world. Although I didn't like Naomi being the first one eliminated from the Elimination Chamber, I had an issue with that. I'm like, damn, you came back from TNA to get eliminated first. Damn, I wish you would have been like the final 2 or the 3. But at the end of the day, yeah.
You know, BX, this is why I like talking to you, BX, because you make me realize, like, you make me feel like a wrestling fan again. You're right. You're right. Like, it could have been that, and I fell for it. I fell into it. Because it sold me on Tiffany, and it worked. If that's what they did, if that's what they were doing purposely, then it was magnificently done. Because I almost turned off the actually fast forwarded, but it didn't make me. You're right. They did put in enough spots because the split from the top was like, all right, let me keep watching, and it got me to Tiffany. So I think you're right on that. I actually concede.
And I say this, and I said it on my live stream, and I'm saying it now. Montez Ford, if you need the hot tag to put a bun in the oven for Bianca Belair, I got the hot tag ready to go. I'll put that bun in the oven for you. If Bianca wants a child, give me the hot tag. I'm willing to go. My boys will swim right in there, baby. Give me the hot tag.
Now this could just be jealousy on my part, but I think Montez is a little on the other side. He's batting for the other team.
He's not living up to expectations. If you gotta go on Hulu to do a show and the woman is placating to put a bun in the oven and you haven't fulfilled that, yo, give me the hot tag. I'm ready. I got my hand extended. Give me the hot tag.
You know what's crazy? It reminds me a lot of the Natty and Tyson Kidd thing, where Tyson, like, she was like so in love with the guy and he didn't care about her. She was like, I want to have kids.
They're still married.
In my case,
Yeah, but it's like
I'm having alligator arms. If it's Tyson Kidd trying to give me the hot tag, I'm kind of doing the alligator arms.
I'm not gonna lie though, her being that thirsty made her attractive to me.
Really? Not me.
Yeah, she was like
Bianca, I'm trying to be Stretch Armstrong right now.
she was like he would come home and she was wearing like full like lingerie outfits and he was like, I'm gonna go talk to Cesaro.
What the fuck?
I guess he
I'd
didn't
be
raise
like,
the
what?
I guess he doesn't raise the bar either.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's a little he's a little he's a little off. But
I'd be like, give me 30 minutes. I'm gonna pop a couple things and we're gonna go. Gonna make sure I got plenty of energy for all that, man.
But all in all, didn't Bianca Belair's the outfits for the women were phenomenal. From Bianca Belair, from Naomi's outfit, from the presentation was phenomenal for the women. This is the most women featured on Elimination Chamber since WWE Evolution. From Indy Hartwell, I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. I live in Orlando, Florida. Everybody knows it, and I always make a gripe of it. I go to NXT a lot. I'm a casual now. I used to go every week, but now I'm kind of skate back and become a casual. But a lot of guys on my channel, like Terrence, shout out to Terrence. He goes weekly. We go and we have formed bond with the WWE talent in NXT. I felt like a proud relative seeing Indy Hartwell get that pop in the pre-show with Candice LeRae in her home crowd. I feel so proud for Andy Hartwell because let me tell you something. When the camera's off and when they go to the commercial, when they're gonna tell you about Pizza Hut and sweetmeats and all that other stuff from the commercials, Indy Hartwell goes out of the apron and she's taking selfies, seeing the little kids, taking pictures with them, hugging them. People's champion. And for her to go to Australia and get that loving reception from the crowd, I felt proud as a regular that goes to NXT to invest my time going to NXT and being part of NXT to see her get that crowd pop in her home country. I felt so proud for Samantha, aka Mrs. Indy Hartwell. I was ecstatic for her. Those are the little things that this is just it was a squash match or a time filler match for Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. No. For me personally, when I know what happens after when she goes through an NXT and all that stuff, I was so proud for her, guys.
yeah, definitely. I feel that, man. I feel that because
Have you watched NXT, Krishan?
What's up?
Have you watched NXT, Krishan?
Not a lot. I check out certain wrestlers. Like I've watched, Braun Breaker and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
that's my boy.
Me
and Brunson. I'm his greatest fan. Me and Brunson. I'm his greatest fan. I post a picture all the time with me and Braun. Me and Brunson take a picture together with the NXT title. I mean, if you look at Stand and Deliver before he fights Carmelo Hayes, me and Terrence on our channel, we were used. Our promos, our interviews were used in the promo for leading up to Stand and Deliver. When I go, Braun Breaker, he's the future of wrestling. And they used it on Stand and Deliver. I got a huge pop. I mean, I'm not trying to put myself over, but man, I was so excited when they used me and Terrence's clip. I was like, yo, and then when oh man, yeah, I have been blessed that WWE has used me so many times.
You're officially part of WWE lore now. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm stuck. And if you go to Table of Three with Braun Breaker, and he talks about when he's with his uncle and his father. When he unifies the title for Tyler Bates, I'm there in the picture with him. When he goes into the crowd and I'm right there with him, I'm like this with him. I'm so blessed that I got to see Braun Breaker grow up in front of us, and also all these different moments in WWE NXT history that I'm like, thank you. I'm leaving a mark in the wrestling community.
When I was younger, during the Attitude Era and stuff, I hated WCW, but I was like,
I hate WCW too.
I loved Scott Steiner.
Oh, me too.
Because his promos, even when I was a kid, just always made me laugh. I don't know why. Like him even trying to be like, because he is a tough guy, you know what I mean? But him doing that and just like fumbling through promos was just the funniest thing to me. But in that, I became like, in a weird way, like a Scott Steiner fan. The big bag booty daddy and all that stuff. We used to say it as a joke. But that's why I checked out Braun Breaker, and I love that he has his what is it, his uncle?
Yes.
Yeah, his uncle. He has that that
Yes.
element to him, and a lot of wrestlers are missing that, where you believe they're tough guys. A lot of these guys, you look at them and they're like, eh. Like I saw Austin Theory live, and he's like my brother is bigger than him. You know what I mean? Like
No,
he's not.
he's a tall son of a bitch though.
He's a big
Austin,
dude, but he's not
he's
he's not jacked. Like when Randy Orton came out, Randy Orton looks like a freaking specimen. Like he's like you wouldn't even you wouldn't even mess with him.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My barber, Alex, shout out to Alex. He goes to the same gym. He goes to the same gym and the chiropractor on most of 90% of NXT. He goes to the same chiropractor in the same gym. Him and Austin Theory, he goes, Austin Theory is a schmuck when it comes to the mirror with the weights. They don't like each other. And I told my barber, yo, give him your card. Tell him, yo, I can fix your lineup. Break the ice. Be the barber. He's a schmuck in real life when it comes to Austin Theory. He lives, talk about living the gimmick. He's a schmuck. But Austin Theory, don't be deceptive. When he's standing next to John Cena, he's just as tall as John Cena, and he's just as big as John Cena. Austin Theory looks like a small guy, but he's not. It's the same way as Gunther. Gunther is really small. He's only 6'4", but he feels like he's a giant.
Well, 6'4" is pretty big in like real life.
Oh, absolutely. I'm 5'11", 5'10", you know, with a haircut.
I'm 6'5".
You know, with a haircut, but you know, I mean, without a haircut, I mean 5'11" without a haircut, and I feel like I'm a giant, you know, sometimes. But yes, I mean, God, I wish I was 6'3", 6'4" at times. But yeah,
I'm bigger than Gunther. I'm bigger than Gunther.
Yeah, there's a certain presence that I'm talking about. Sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
You good? I was just saying I'm bigger than Gunther. I'm 6'5" and 350 pounds.
You're 6'5"? Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I'm like a brick shit house, dude. I'm huge. I'm like,
I see why you were in wrestling. You were
yeah.
You look like $1 million.
Hold a minute. Wait a minute. We got someone in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. I like to acknowledge the chat. I know it's not my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I know that.
Oh, you're good, man. I put my phone down for a minute because the chat might kind of quiet.
To acknowledge the chat because we got Kane the Destroyer in the chat at 6'2".
Kane.
He says, "Yo, Kane the Destroyer," as we acknowledge you.
Standing at 6'2" from parts unknown.
Yes.
That's why me and Kane are the Destroyers of Smoke.
Yeah.
Got a 6'2" dude that looks like Mark Henry, and you got a 6'5" dude that looks like I don't know what the hell I'd look like.
That's talk about natural disasters right there. Oh baby.
Combined total about I don't know how much Kane weighs, but I know how much I weigh.
And I live in the South. I don't mind being the mouth of the South. Let's go. Get him at it, baby.
You know who looks like a monster in real life is Trick.
Oh, Matrick is the most nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
I mean, I love Matrick. I mean, I love Trick Williams. I mean, he is so humble. Yo, Chris, when I talk about humble, that son of a bitch is humble as apple pie.
Dude,
so nice. We went to his premiere on Tricky and Easy. He had a YouTube comedy sketch, Tricky and Easy. He invited us, me and my wife, for the premiere. Yo, the dude is so humble and nice, sweet. Yo, I wish him nothing but the uber success in his career.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Dude, when I went to SmackDown, he did that run-in to save Carmelo. Coming, right. I was sitting right behind the commentators, so like when they come running out, it's like they're running towards you. He looks like I would like if he was running at you to come and fight you, you would fucking run. If you had a gun, you would throw the gun down and run away.
No, he's that.
He's like
guy.
A scary looking dude.
No, he's so but the dude, I seen him in house shows have dumb wrestling wars with little kids. Like he gets it. This guy and I mentioned, you know, when him and Trick Williams were him and Carmelo Hayes were coming up. Oh, you know, and I've said it time and time again. And I no disrespect to Christian, aka Carmelo Hayes. Trick Williams fits the boxes of what WWE looks for. At 6'4", also could cut a great promo. The look that I think Trick Williams is gonna have a better career like Carmelo Hayes. Doesn't Doesn't mean that Carmelo Hayes is not going to be a great WWE performer, but I think they're gonna. I can see Carmelo. I can see Trick Williams being elevated more than Carmelo Hayes because of that the height, and also he cuts the promo so sharp, and Trick Williams gets it, and his humility, and not
And
nothing,
he's
not for nothing. Carmelo Hayes is also very very timid and very humble, but damn, Trick Williams has just a little bit of a notch.
and Trick Williams is like completely over too. Like the
Yes.
crowd loves him. You know what I mean? This is the thing I was gonna say earlier, real quick. Have you guys seen the recent thing where Austin Theory went off on that promoter? Not promoter, sorry,
Yes.
reporter.
Reporter.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
Morning Australia. Yes.
Right. This is what I'm talking about as far as like believability as wrestler. Like when he was really angry and he was
That
going
was
off on
Grayson
that
Waller.
report. Whoa.
That was Grayson Waller that went off on the interview.
No.
Austin Theory had an incident.
Yeah, he went
Another
off
one?
because the
Yes.
reporter said that what he does is fake. It's fake
Yes.
wrestling fighting or something.
Yeah, they had that same instance. It was with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory on the same show.
No, it's
And
different.
Grayson
It's
Waller
totally different.
was-
Joe. Joe, this was a totally different scenario. No Grayson Waller, nowhere near that.
I don't
So
even think
totally
he was
different.
he was there. I didn't even see
Yeah,
him in the
it's
video.
a totally different episode. Joe, nothing had to
Okay.
do with that.
But
yeah,
my point is if you were to play that video, like I was watching it and I was like, even when he's really mad, he's not convincing. You know what I mean? There's like a thing
That's
of
terrible.
that's his demeanor. That's his demeanor. That's the
right,
thing.
right. And I'm just saying, like he might be, like he might have the look, he might be a big guy, but he doesn't have that thing that makes you go like that guy's a problem,
No.
So
He-
and maybe he needs to play into that, like kind of like how Dominic did, where
Yes.
Dominic
I'm
played into
so-
his.
I'm
Listen.
sorry about Austin Theory. He may have the look, but every time I see his face, I think of a rat.
No, when
I
I see
can't.
Austin Theory, you know what I think of? Remember when Vince McMahon smacked the shit out of him in the backstage in the promo? That's
Yeah.
all I could think of. An old man smacking the crap out of him, and I can't lift that up from Austin Theory. And then when
You
Roman
would-
Reigns says, Daddy ain't here, Daddy's not here no more. I'm like, I can't. I like Austin Theory, but damn.
I'll tell you
You were-
what made me kind of like Austin Theory is when I went to the live show to SmackDown and he during the commercial break, like you said, BX, he was the only one that came over to the crowd and started like jaw jacking with us, and he started yelling at us, and we were like yelling back at him and Grayson, and that
Grayson?
was so much fun, just them being like old school heels, but they don't put that on
Yes.
TV. I think they should.
Grayson Waller, I have had one-on-one back and forth with Grayson Waller myself. Grayson Waller is the most cutthroat, non-cursing, sharp tongue in wrestling right now. Better
Really?
than anyone. I'm gonna tell you, I had one-on-one with him. He has had people in the NXT Performance Center have deers in the headlight looks. Listen, Grayson Waller in NXT, he's observant. He's very observant and quick on the tongue. You could tell nothing is scripted. Everything comes out natural. There's a guy by the name of Jordan. He wears the same Celtics or Chicago Bulls green jersey, Michael Jordan jersey every week to NXT. And dude, it looks like that jersey could walk by himself already to the Performance Center. He wears it too much. Grayson Waller roasted him on the freaking microphone and said, "Yo, bro, you don't got no money." I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Bro, you got no money. Every week you come here every week with the same jersey. You come with the same corny jokes or try to rib me. Yo, be original. Yo, he left him with deers in the headlight. Then there was this other girl who didn't like Grayson Waller. He roasted her, and she wasn't not pretty looking either. And he roasted her like, "Yo, you ugly," pretty much paraphrasing. No guy's gonna think about you. Yo, they stood. I'm not lying to you. As God is my witness, this was early, and they stood like about 2 hours with the deer in the headlights. No yay, no boo. They didn't get up from their seat. They stood there like shook. Grayson Waller shakes people when it comes to his promo. I one day remember. I don't know if you remember. He went after the wrestling club. He called them a little turds or whatever the case was. He, with the wrestling club out there in Brooklyn with Professor Perry Wallflower, and I went to the house show with a wrestling club sign, and I was ribbing them. and I emailed and I actually Twitter and I said, "Hey, Professor, I'm here with the wrestling club," and he tried to snatch and I laminated because he likes to snatch the posters and rip them. He couldn't grab it and because it was laminated. He couldn't rip it. So he says, "Oh," I said, "You got to be pretty quicker. You got to be pretty quick in the morning for me." Mason Waller goes, "I will smack those little bastards in this the wrestling club." I went back and forth and I actually came out scathed. I didn't get shook by Grayson Waller, but yo, that guy is like this, Chris. Yo, he is sharp with the tongue. And 2024 for Grayson Waller, when he's going to be a mainstay in heel, you heard it from me first. Grayson Waller is going to be one of those kind of heels. You're like, yo, I need to hear him. I need to see him week after week because he is that. He is it when it comes to the microphone.
They need to give him more. Sorry, Joe again. But they just need to give him more to work with, I guess, because I don't like what they have him doing. I don't like the Grayson Waller effect. I don't understand.
That comes from NXT. That's an NXT thing where he wants to get when he starts his major feud, he starts the Grayson Waller effect.
Right. It's like the cutting.
He's building the heel heat.
Right, Joe. What happened is the WWE right now is top heavy when it comes to the world heavyweight title. Roman has a logjam with the world title. Right now with Seth's title is also high up there. I don't know what they're gonna do if Grayson Waller, they thinking him as a mid-card push, but that's what the problem is. That's why, as much as I love Braun Breaker, I'm a Braun Breaker mark. I kind of want to see Braun Breaker be in a tag team championship scenario because, and I've said it before he even teamed up with Baron Corbin. I kind of wanted to see Braun Breaker with Madcap Moss and kind of build a Steiner brother type of deal and run in the tag team title because Madcap was young. He's good looking. To again, listen. They also got to market to women to want to watch the WWE product. You got two hunks between, let's call it Braun is a good looking man, Matt Cass is a good looking man. You put them as tag team champions. Other young women find them attractive. They want to watch the product.
Yeah, they're the beefcake.
Beefcake for the women. Right, they're a beefcake. And it's a business. It's an eye candy business. As much as we just said, listen, I want the hot tag for Bianca Belair. Women need the eye candy too. Let's be honest.
Well, probably more because it's more of a male-dominated sport. So
exactly. So I said, you know what? Why not bring up Braun if they're gonna bring him up? Team him up with Madcap. You got two hunky guys as a tag team champions. And it gives like about 2 years for Braun to dominate the tag team with Madcap before the AJ Styles retire, the Roman Reigns leaves. The top heavy guys start phasing out, and you could start elevating the tag team guys into the main, like a Braun into the main title picture. I said that months ago. But I like that Braun is in SmackDown. I think Braun is going to be the one that's going to take the United States title away from Logan Paul, but that's for another story for another day. But I like the fact that he's there.
Yeah, I agree. I like that Braun's on the main roster. I like that he is the NXT Tag Team Champions right now with Corbin.
And
I think him and Corbin have good chemistry.
Corbin. I love Corbin there because Corbin right now hasn't had a title in 6 years, Joe?
Yeah. Well, now he does, but yeah, before that, yep.
Right. Before that, he hasn't touched gold for 6 years, so now he has the NXT title gold with Braun. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy seeing that.
Their chemistry is good.
Oh, they're very entertaining, Joe.
Their chemistry is just amazing in the ring and on the mic. They feed off of each other, and it's great.
And they're having fun cutting the promos back and forth. They look like they're having fun. And that's what's good. That's what makes you get invested in those promos because if they're having fun, it's a fun listen, a fun watch.
I saw a couple of their little bit of their work. I think it's a great odd coupling, good odd couple pairing, and those
Cesaro and Sheamus all over again.
Yeah, the odd couples always work in wrestling for some reason.
Opposites attracts always, and it shows in wrestling here when it comes to Braun and it's showing another side, another versatility in Braun, because let's face it, Braun didn't need to turn heel. It was the Performance Center that made him turn heel. Being there week after week, the Performance Center caused that heel turn. And I get mad because I'm gonna be honest with you, Chris. When I see you deserve it, I got so mad. When he won the tag team titles, you deserve it. Bullshit. You guys were barking and turning your backs on Braun Breaker when he was world title. I saw nothing wrong with Braun Breaker as a world heavyweight champion. He just didn't have a formidable opponent to make his title run worthwhile. In my
Well, do you think
opinion.
that's like a old kind of thing from like back in the day when there was the territories, when things like that would happen where the baby face would start getting booed, they just move to a new territory and kind of start over. So, I mean, do you think maybe that's like where wrestling is it's something that can't change, but the business has changed? Does that make
A
sense?
little bit. Let me ask you this, Chris. Do you like the fans dictating and wanting a change of champion? Because if it's up to the champions, they want a hot potato champion.
No,
It doesn't. I don't like it.
yeah, I agree with you. And wrestling fans nowadays think everybody needs to be the world champion. There's no
Yes.
there's no idea of like the reason why all wrestling fans nowadays their favorite wrestling title is the Intercontinental Championship is because a lot of those guys weren't world champions. They were
Right.
making their thing was the Intercontinental Champion. That was their world champion. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's people, there's nobody who takes pride. It's like you see it in the real world anyway too. Like there's nobody that takes pride in being, working the drive-through at McDonald's, like where you have to take
Yes.
pride in doing something small in order to get big. You get what I mean?
I no,
So
I get you.
yeah, there's like people don't understand that the reason why wrestling, a big part of why wrestling isn't how it was in the Attitude Era is because of wrestling fans. They want to dictate the show, and that doesn't work. Like maybe for the Daniel Bryan situation, it worked, like because we became part of the storyline. So it was,
Hey, Cody.
yeah. But I totally agree with you. There's not enough enjoying wrestling for what it is. Like I enjoy going, watching a show and sometimes being disappointed at the end.
Let me
Like
ask you this,
because
Chris.
that's what we're supposed to do.
Let me ask you this follow up. Do
Yeah.
you appreciate a long title reign? I appreciate it because that champion becomes an obstacle. Because
Mhm.
if you could beat that champion, that obstacle, that mountain, that Mount Everest, then you deserve to be champion. In
I'll
my
go a step
opinion,
further. I not only like a long title reign, I don't mind that Roman's not on the show every week.
I agree with you.
I think
I
that's
totally
great.
agree with you.
The fact that people sit there and go, man, Roman's not on the show. I'm pissed. That's amazing because what, 2 years ago, people didn't want to see Roman. Nobody cared about Roman. They couldn't get him over. I went to SmackDown Live and Roman wasn't there. Everybody was like, man, Roman wasn't here. I'm like, like they got him over.
Let me
And
ask you. Let me tell you this, Chris. And again, I would like Cody Rhodes to finish the story. I'm not against this, and we're gonna bring this to Cody Rhodes.
mhm.
I don't. I would like Cody Rhodes to be the face of the WWF, yes, but I don't want him to be. I don't want him to win for WrestleMania 40 because and listen, I come from WrestleMania 1 watching this with my grandfather. I'm a Hulkamaniac. I'm gonna say it right now. I'm no problem, regardless of what he said and the stupid comments what he said in the privacy of his home. I'm a Hulkamaniac. I grew up on Hulk Hogan.
when
I
when I was
pray.
when I was sorry, real quick, when I was 4
Mhm.
years old, Hulk Hogan was what brought me into wrestling. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Hulk
absolutely.
Hogan, Hulk Hogan, Randy Richter, the WrestleMania, with all that good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I want Roman to break Hogan's record. I'm a Hulkamaniac. I got all his merchandise. I believe in everything Hulk Hogan. I love Hulk Hogan. My grandfather, I put a Hulk Hogan teddy bear in his casket when he went to the grave because we love Hogan. He got me into wrestling. My point is, I want Hogan when Cody beats Roman Reigns. I want it to be with Cody Rhodes beat the longest reigning heavyweight champion in post WrestleMania era. But these fucking marks, these fucking crybabies can't grasp. They want it now instead of waiting, and so they could put that extra mark in that extra penmanship that Cody Rhodes beat the most prestige champion at post WrestleMania in
Mhm.
Roman Reigns. Let Roman Reigns break Hulk Hogan's fucking record. So like that, when Cody becomes the face of the company, he has something to a feather in his cap. But no, these son of a bitches want it now in this
He
WrestleMania 40
he
because
can have
they're gonna tweet.
a. You're right. He can have a much bigger legacy to build off of.
Exactly.
Yeah. And look at it this way: had the fans got what they wanted back when Cody came back, we wouldn't have gotten this great bloodline story with The Rock turning heel and him coming back and Triple H the slap and whatever's going to happen at WrestleMania 40. Like, it's like, I think we have a much greater story. And when we talk about finish the story, I think that's why The Rock's been going off on fans, because it is truly, let us just finish the fucking story. Stop
Exactly,
forcing our
Chris.
hand. Yeah, I'm with you, BX. I agree.
Can
Joe,
we have?
what do you think about?
Personally, I want to see Cody Rhodes win the world title, the Universal title at Madison Square Garden at SummerSlam. I'm not SummerSlam at Survivor Series, or if the WWE decides to make a December pay per view and call it Starcade because they have the right for it, or have, and I've been saying this all along, let it be fucking Survivor Series where they're gonna call it War Games in a match that Dusty Rhodes made, and let him finish his story in a match that the American Dream made in Survivor Series, where you know what, we got the cage. Ain't nobody in the bloodline coming in here. It's just me and you, pal. Me and you, pal, in the Survivor Series, and there's gonna be hard times in here.
But BX,
and you know what? Let's go.
The one thing I gotta ask you though is do you think though isn't finishing the story, the finish of the story is him winning at WrestleMania? Like him winning at Survivor Series. It's just the title, you think?
No, it has to be Madison Square Garden, because what the hell the picture means is Madison Square Garden where he fought superstar Billy Graham, and he raised the title, and no, it was a disqualification, brother. No, it has to be Madison Square Garden. And since the WWE only wants to do and be greedy and do stadium shows, and you know what, but Madison Square Garden has the luxury, it has the prestige, it has the pedigree. It has to be Madison Square Garden, Chris. Come on, man. Let's go.
Listen, I love Madison Square Garden. Like, I'm a Madison Square Garden WWE guy. Like,
I'm a New York guy. I've been to Madison Square Garden hundreds of times.
We all have, Joe. We've been there. Let's go. It has to be Madison Square Garden, and they gotta have a super fan at ringside. Let's go.
Bully Ray said it on Busted Open Radio, and said the exact same things you're saying. Cody needs to finish the story at Madison Square Garden. This is where the story began, because this is what happened with the story, and this is where it needs to end. It needs to be at the Garden.
And let me say this. Let me put this caveat to this. When Roman finally fights The Rock, right, for the head of the table, when Michael Cole says the longest post WrestleMania champion Roman Reigns taking on the most electrifying, productive, or financially superstar in wrestling, it sounds better than a guy who just had the third longest reigns and lost to Cody on WrestleMania 40. What sounds better?
And not only that, you're right. That does sound better. And not only that, when are they ever going to get the opportunity to break that record? They're not going to do a title reign this long ever. Like, not for a long time anyway.
Wrestling fans are not patient enough. They want everything Listen, that's why I say, listen, a meal that's made in the grill or in the oven, when a turkey's made in the oven, nice and roasted, it tastes delicious than putting it in the fucking microwave. When you put it in the microwave, sometimes the middle is not warm enough. It's still frozen, and maybe the outside might be cooked, but the inside is frozen. When you put it in the oven, nice and roasted, or you put it in the grill, nice and slow cooked, or slow cooker, it tastes so delicious. The meat comes out of the bone. But when you put it in the microwave, it doesn't taste good, and that's what these damn freaking wrestling marks want. They want it now. They want it in the microwave. It doesn't taste good, man.
I agree. I actually do. I do want to see Roman actually win again. I don't see it going towards the Rock turning on Roman at WrestleMania 40. I think this bloodline almost mega powers thing with the Rock and Roman, they're gonna run that out for a little while. Like, imagine The Rock and Roman like teaming up and just being the new, doing a new 2-man power trip. You know what I mean?
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I know some people want to say, oh, he's a part timer and yada 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 yada. Listen, I'm gonna say myself, I'm not imposed of Cody. Cody is the future of wrestling for the WWE to take the company for the next 5 years. I get it. I'm not saying Cody shouldn't be the face of wrestling. What he does with the kids, I love it. He paid for the wrestling club to go to the whole WrestleMania. I love that. He knows what it gets to be the face of the company. He gets it. But again, when I want Cody to win this world title, I want it to mean something. I don't want the fans to turn on him 3 months later because I say, okay, Cody wins this WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Who's next? What's the next storyline? What next? Then it's gonna be like, I don't know, maybe Damian Priest. There's no one else to step up. Now, I changed my tune though, Chris. I said, I'm willing to compromise if Cody wins the match in WrestleMania 40 and becomes world champion, but it has nothing to do with the storyline with The Rock and Roman. But the WWE has to give me Maxwell Jacob Freeman to show up at WrestleMania some way, somehow. Even if it has nothing to do with Cody. But if MJF comes up at WrestleMania some way, somehow, make his debut to WWE, I'm okay with Cody winning the story because I can see Max down the road becoming a viable opponent for Cody later down the road in a couple of months. Now we got something to build on. But what about Gunther? Gunther's not ready yet because I don't want to see Gunther lose to Cody in the first in the first month onto SummerSlam. I can't see Gunther lose. I can't have Gunther lose right now. I'm a big Gunther guy. But what's next for Cody? There's no one. There's not a made up heel to challenge Cody right now. Drew is boring. I'm so mad that Drew won the Elimination Chamber. I think he's boring as hell.
Same, totally.
I was so mad in my watch along. I got three thumbs down after he won because I was looking at the analytics because I went off on a tariff when he won the Rumble, the Elimination Chamber. I was so mad because I find Drew so fucking boring. I wish I could trade him for MJF in a heartbeat to AEW because he sucks.
Absolutely, I've never been a Drew fan. I can't get into him.
Chris, I stopped watching WWE when he became champion in the pandemic, and I stopped. I totally disconnected.
That I don't blame on Drew. I just couldn't do the pandemic era.
No, I couldn't. With no fans there, I couldn't. But then
and the fake fan crowd.
He didn't pull me in. He didn't pull me in. He didn't say, "Come, invest in me." I couldn't. Listen, if I wanted to watch him, I go buy a bowl of Lucky Charms and sit and eat that.
And I bet Joe, you're gonna feel me on this one. I always hated the sword that he would bring out. I'll tell you why, because it was a weapon that you knew he was never gonna use the right way.
Yo, he say that on the watch along all the time, Chris. Why are you bringing the sword out? It's the same thing with there's an NXT wrestler by Carmen Petrovich. She brings a sword. Honey, you're beautiful. You're gorgeous. Kick the sword to the side. It's not going to get you anywhere. You can't use it in wrestling.
You can't use it. It's like useless.
Bring a bat. I'd rather have a bat.
Joe, I'm curious. I got to actually jump off in a minute, but I do want to hear what your thoughts on the everything we were just talking about as far as the Cody losing. Do you think that's a viable option?
He's not gonna want that.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't think they're gonna do it. I don't think WWE is gonna do it.
Have him
That's
lose.
First off, I don't think they're gonna have him lose.
Okay.
Cody. I don't think Cody is gonna be losing anything. I think Cody's gonna win the championship and the story, and then move on. But do I think that it should happen at the Garden? Yes. I agree. It should happen at the Garden. I don't think it should happen. If they used to have a good repertoire to where every 10 years they would go back to the Garden for WrestleMania.
I missed that.
And at WrestleMania 30, they stopped it. WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 20, they were all at the Garden. And then after that, they were like, well, they got greedy. They wanted more money.
Exactly.
Well, I still do. I wish they would still though go back to New York.
Yes.
For every just like to keep that at least a little bit of it. Because I understand not going to the Garden. I do think it would be cool if they did do just a WrestleMania at the Garden again, like and but they're not going to take that hit. I understand that.
You know what the problem is?
They were using the Brooklyn Nets Stadium for a while too in Brooklyn.
MetLife,
the Barclay, but here's
yeah,
the
Barclays Center at SummerSlam and stuff.
New York doesn't have a dome. New York got so much political nonsense and minutia and stupidity that they cannot get a dome stadium. And listen, this is a whole total argument from wrestling. West Side Highway should be a perfect location for the New York Jets to have a dome stadium. Not only you're going to bring the Super Bowl to New York in a dome stadium, you're going to have WrestleMania, NCAA Final Four, etc. But they got their head up their ass. When it comes to New York politics, that's for another conversation for another day.
Yeah,
but
they can't even keep their citizens safe. So
correct. Yeah. They're giving out debit cards to immigrants, but that's another whole other conversation for another
BX,
day.
I got to get you on my my political.
Yo, you got my information.
Right.
You give me my information. Call me. Yo, guy throws the back signal. I'm there. I'm always there to have that conversation.
New York's fucked up on a lot of levels, and I'm from there, and it's just I'm glad I'm not there anymore. I love New York, but Jesus Christ, they're so fucked up over there. It's ridiculous,
bro. It's not the New York we used to love. That's the thing that's sad about it. I used to love going to New York City and just walking around. Now you can't even do that, bro.
No.
It's soft woke land.
Now, Chris, are you Latino descendant? I'm not too sure what your identity.
No. My father's from Jamaica.
Okay. No, well,
so I got an island connection.
The reason why I asked because there's a famous Puerto Rican band called the Gran Combo that's called Un Verano en Nueva York. That means a summer in New York, and that song for us Hispanics, it's the national anthem for New York, spending a summer in New York. They tell you all the great things that used to do in New York City when you were growing up in the 80s. That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you that.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, you had parades, you had carnivals, you had all these different excursions in New York in the 80s or in the 90s.
Street fairs.
New York, and I always tell everybody, if you're going to visit New York in the summer because it is the greatest. Although you have December for Rockefeller Center and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah,
that is beautiful. No one does Christmas like New York and Rockefeller Center. But other than that, when it's cold, it sucks. Other than the San Gennaro Festival, but other than that, that's not too far.
San Gennaro Feast. Oh, San Gennaro Feast is amazing.
That's amazing. That's phenomenal.
The thing I love about, and I don't know if this is going to be lost with the new New York, is that I remember back in the day when you found out. It's still to this day because we have that attitude. We're older guys. When you meet somebody that's from New York, you have like a connection.
Oh yeah,
I still do that out where I'm at.
Yeah, I still do that too.
I'm like, hey, I like your hat. And they're like, yeah, I'm from New York. I was like, oh yeah, what part? They're like Brooklyn. I'm like, hey, so am I.
Oh, you were from
They're
Brooklyn?
like, what the fuck? They're like, what the fuck are you doing all the way out here? I said I was gonna ask the same goddamn thing.
I was about to ask you what the fuck were you doing in Brooklyn?
This is the sixth borough.
Hey, Brooklyn's the shit.
Where I'm at is the sixth borough.
I hear it wasn't like it was different at a different time, Brooklyn, or there's different areas of Brooklyn.
See, my area of Brooklyn I grew up in was like, I grew up in between like, the neighborhood I grew up in was pretty much Irish and Italian, and then you walk 3 blocks up and you're in the projects.
Yeah.
It was like that. That's how close everything was.
Well, you're in Canarsie.
So I was in between. Huh?
Canarsie?
I was Sheepshead Bay.
Close. I was close.
Garrison Beach, Marine Park.
Okay.
Oh, you were Brooklyn
I grew
too. Oh yeah, BX.
No, I'm from the Bronx. I'm the Bronx. I'm from the Bronx.
from the
I'm
Bronx.
from
That's what I was just
140,
saying. I just,
149th Street and Jackson Avenue. When I was, my grandmother lived there. I lived in Throsneck. That was mostly Italian Irish, but
Mhm.
I get around.
yeah, I
Like
realized
Big
BX.
Ed.
I was like, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was in Long Island. I lived in like my neighborhood was completely all Puerto Ricans.
Where'd you go, Brentwood? Let me get Brentwood or Conrac.
Wow.
I lived in Nassau County
Oh, okay.
near Far Rockaway.
Got you.
That
My
area.
parents, they passed up on buying a house in Valley Stream. I think it would have changed, or we were thinking about moving to Valley Stream. My father lived in worked in Valley Stream for a couple years there. We wanted to go to Valley Stream, but things
Yeah.
happen in life.
Well,
I used to go out to Valley Stream to go to the mall.
It's kind of like how Joe was saying. Our area was like lower middle class, I guess you could call it.
Yeah,
and
Throsneck
then
was
literally,
like that.
yeah, and it was pretty, it's pretty messed up, whatever. But then you'd go over to right over the tracks, and it's mansions. People, who work in
Yeah,
Manhattan and stuff.
yeah, that's how it was in New York too. If you went from Garrettson Beach
Mahasset
and
or Gray Neck.
you went up to Mill Basin. Mill Basin was like a 5-10 minute drive, and you went to Mill Basin. Mill Basin's all mansions.
Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
it is. That's
Beautiful.
how it is. Just a little bit of inches away.
Yeah, man.
I'm talking
Yeah.
$3 to $6 million houses.
But you know what?
Great, like 3-story houses too. Yeah.
I say this once. I say it again. I never will trade my childhood in the Bronx. As much as the Bronx was burning with the abandoned buildings and the crack epidemic and all that other nonsense, I would never trade my childhood in the Bronx in the 80s.
Same. I'm the same way about
Yeah.
Brooklyn. My childhood, when we used to go back weeds and back in the weeds, we used to build forts, underground forts and stuff. And, we would play until the street lights came on in the parks. And then after dark,
Talk to me.
after
Talk
dark,
to me.
after dark, playing, drinking and stuff after dark and smoking and running away from the cops all the time because they would try to come in the park and chase us out after dark.
No, I wouldn't trade.
These are the things that.
I think that's what made
These are the things, you have to do that. Cake parties. Cake party when you're, a teenager. When do they do that anymore?
No. Listen to Big Daddy Kane's album or Special Ed.
Outside cake parties, just random. When do you get a random cake party just randomly just pop up on a Friday night?
No, those are the greatest. Yeah, I wouldn't. Again, I said it once. I said it many times. I would never trade my childhood in the 80s. And the wrestling that was a big impact in the 80s and the early 90s. Even though it was, some people might think it's corny, like Mantar and Doink the Clown.
Dude, I loved all that stuff.
I loved it,
dude. I loved all that. I used to go to the WWF WrestleMania Revenge Tour at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, this was great. The house shows. How many times
When
did Texas Tornado versus Kirk Canning?
Yeah. Well, at BX, it goes back to what you were saying about
Bob Spark versus Quang.
A lot of wrestling fans try to have that revisionist history where it's like that time I like they were too good for it, and it's like, bro, we were all kids at that time. We all loved it. Just stop. Hey, look, I got to get out of here though, guys.
Hey, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Chris. You know that.
Yes, same to you, BX.
Pleasure having you on the show.
I love you guys. I love doing content with you guys. So anytime we got to link up. By the way, everybody that's listening, follow me, Misfit Nation, at the Misfit Nation, and then also my wrestling channel is the Kayfabe Cartel. So Kayfabe Cartel spelled with a K.
Everybody, follow, like, subscribe, listen.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me, brother.
Krishan, anytime, sir. Misfit Nation is always welcome on this show.
Same to you. Also, Wonder wanted me to tell you the same. He said he loves doing content with you guys, so he's gonna be, he's been super busy with his business and stuff. But we do have to. I'm gonna get with you guys as far as the WrestleMania thing.
Absolutely,
I think that'd be cool for all of us to sort of just do this and chill.
All of us linking up doing WrestleMania.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like night one all together, and then if you want to do whatever you want night two. You know,
I'll do both. I
make,
don't give a shit.
make a little party out of it.
We're doing
What do we
both
got, like,
nights
10
on our
hours?
channel. We got both. We gotta do 2 nights on our channel because we keep the channel's growing big time.
Yeah, man, I see you. I see all of you. Hey, we're all growing. We're all growing.
Mhm.
That's
And you know what it is? We need to be a link in the chain to be strong. You know, like
that's what
That's
I'm
right.
saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
If
So-
wrestling companies were like that, we would have some amazing wrestling right now.
Well, like
If all
you
these
know,
companies were linked.
as you guys know, I do a political type of show. We talk about literally anything, relationships, whatever you want to talk about. So if you guys ever want to jump in on that, feel
Of
free.
course.
Chris,
You know-
I'm like a vampire. If I'm not invited, I'm not there. So you
You're
got
not
to
there.
invite me. I'm
I
not a
got you.
vampire. If you don't invite me, I'm not going to go into the door because I don't want to be there where I'm not welcome. So if
I-
you just throw the back signal, man. That's the way I tell everybody.
I'm the same way. That's why I'm just saying this because I need to be invited the same way. I don't like to intrude when I'm not, So but yeah, bro. Let's just open up that line of communication. I just
Yes. Yes.
make sure we're all
indeed.
there. Now that we
Let's
all
do it.
know that we're all good. So
So we're in the we're in the Florida area. We gotta come up where we're gonna meet in a location like I'm just using as a Buffalo Wild Wings where both channels could do a live watch along in a
Hey.
location, man. We got some big things coming up maybe in 2024, man.
Definitely.
Ooh.
Hey, I mean at some point, we can all do a meetup or something, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll all pack our bags and we'll all go to Puerto Rico and surprise Alex.
Oh,
What
I'm
you're
sure he-
gonna do when the PUWF and the Jedi Sports Station and the Midfit runs wild on Alex Coquito on you? Ooh.
Absolutely.
I don't think he'd know what the hell to do if we all showed up.
Honestly, Alex seems
he
like
know.
he would
He
know
know what to
exactly
do.
what to do. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he knows where he goes. Bacardi, the Bacardi distribution is there. Yeah, he knows where. He knows. Alex is a sharp, cool, calm, collective dude.
I
He
feel like
knows his island.
we'd all go, all right, Alex, what are we gonna do? He'd just go, give me 5 minutes.
Yep.
Let me send out a tweet.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's all set.
All right, guys. I'm out of here.
Have a
Much
good
love.
night,
Sean.
my
Much
friend.
love.
Many
Have a good
blessings
night,
to you,
dude.
buddy.
Much love.
There
Later.
we go. All right, so we got a few more minutes here because I'm gonna be.
Yes,
heading
we
to-
do.
I've been
Few
up
more
since
minutes.
I've been up since 3:30 in the morning, so I'm gonna give me another
I've been
10
up.
minutes. And
I've
I'm
been
gonna
up
get
too.
the-
I'm
I
right
did
there
the-
with you.
I did the Elimination Chamber. It was a phenomenal.
I was up
card.
watching.
It was phenomenal. It was great. I had so much fun on that watch along.
Yeah, the
I
overall show got an A, I believe. It had one match that had a B minus. It was the women's tag match for the titles with Indy and Candice LeRae versus the Kabuki Warriors. It had a B
I can see
minus,
that.
which
I
isn't
can
a
see
bad.
where you.
It's not
I
a
can
bad
see where you
rating.
could give it a B minus. I liked it because I was like again. I felt like I felt Indy deserved the flowers and she got it. I thought the men's elimination chamber. I didn't like it because
It was Bleacher. Bleacher is pretty hard.
I cannot stand Drew McIntyre, and my bias for Drew McIntyre gave that.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Orton to win, and when Seth said that he wanted to face Orton, he wanted Orton to win the elimination chamber. I thought we were gonna get a swerve.
I thought it was I wanted LA Knight, but my God, he's not gonna get it.
AJ Styles and LA Knight are gonna have a collision course now.
Yeah, literally.
Which you kind of saw it coming because of how SmackDown ended with them two, with the match.
Yes. Is this going to be a cinematic match or is this going to be a straight up one-on-one match for
I don't know.
WrestleMania? Because
Next thing also, are you subscribed to Dreadmare?
Who?
Dreadmare on YouTube.
No, I'm not.
Have you watched the vignettes and stuff that have been coming out?
No, this must be the first time I'm hearing that name. Be honest.
Oh my goodness, bro! It's Bo Dallas. It's Bo Dallas. He's he's commenting on all the little stuff that's happening on NXT, the wording and stuff that's coming up. He's
When it comes,
talking about it on Dreadmare.
okay, when it comes to Bo Dallas, I'm waiting to see because there's that vignette of the many faces. When I'm at home at this and yada yada. I don't know. You sent me a great video. I appreciate that you sent me those videos. And Bo Dallas has a lot of
Did you watch
questions.
it?
Yes, of course, of course, of course. I watched it. Also, when it comes to the Final Testaments, they're giving me Bo Dallas vibes with the Final Testaments, with the Authors of Pain, with Karrion Cross.
He commented on it.
Correct. What worries me when it comes to that fashion, Joe, there's too many ice in that drink. They either got to get rid of Scarlett Johansson, John Scarlett Bordeaux, whatever her name is, and Paul Ellering. Those two, they're too many. If they're gonna bring Bo Dallas, if they're gonna make it perfect, they're gonna make it great. One of those two gotta go. I'm gonna be honest with you, because they don't fit when it comes to that. Because I'm looking at Paul Ellering with the what is he? Michael Jackson with the glove. I mean, I can't get him. I mean, with that white glove. I mean,
He's like,
pops.
what?
Things happen. I say, pops. Isn't the nursing home calling you to come home already? I mean, it's 9 o'clock already when you come out. I mean, I understand. Listen, this is the one thing I heard at Paul Ellering. If he didn't show up when Sonny took his place with the Legion of Doom, 30 years later, you're gonna give me Paul Ellering. I can't buy it. I'm Joe. I'm sorry.
Paul Ellering is
A relic past his time.
he is, but at the same time, he is an evil entity of sorts.
But he hasn't shown that with the microphone. He hasn't cut a promo where he's like, where he's not Heyman on the mic, where you're like, oh, then it works. Because let me say something. If Paul Ellering cuts a promo like Heyman, then Scarlett could go underneath the table, and give reach arounds to Karrion Cross all day, and we don't need to see her on camera. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. But Paul Ellering hasn't elevated himself to like, yo, we need to hear him talk on the mic with AOP.
All right, I sent you.
I'd rather have I saw it. I'd rather have the eye candy in Scarlet right now than the old relic that doesn't cut no promo, that he just sits there with his hands crossed, with his hands with a white
Exactly.
glove. Like, I hate this visual. Listen, we're in 2024 where visual speaks volumes, and I'd rather have the eye candy that looks good with the pair of not for nothing, with a pair of tits than the old man.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. TNA sells. It's true. But yeah, I sent you those videos. Watch those.
Yes, I will.
Subscribe to the Dreadmare channel, man, because he is coming out with new stuff. He made the Dreadmare channel because the other channel that was unveiling stuff, something happened to it, so he created Dreadmare, and he's been coming out with so much great stuff. It has been phenomenal. And every time a new vignette comes out on NXT, he drops a new video.
And we know it's not Okada. We know Okada's going to the All Elite Wrestling. He's gone. But I am making a prediction. I made a prediction on my channel, on the Sports Jedi Network, Kill the Ring podcast. I'm going to make it here as well. Kendall Gray. Remember that name? That is Camille. Camille is going to the NXT brand. Here's the reason why.
It was expected.
She hasn't said she's going anywhere yet. She doesn't know yet. She has a YouTube channel. Very, very fun, exciting video that she asked questions from people that were writing in her chat. Q&A from Camille. She did not decide to answer any of this man's question here, because I didn't ask her any direct questions either. I asked her, my question to Camille was, Miss Camille, what are your end game in this wrestling business? Do you want to get in movies or in commercials besides being a top-notch wrestler? She didn't answer it. I was waiting for her to answer it because I was going to say, listen. I said, okay, great, because there's a company that even if you come to the company, they have a wrestler who's has a commercial for the Super Bowl for Mountain Dew. Despite the fact that you might argue or not argue that she's not ready or cannot wrestle, Jade Cargill, she already starred in a Super Bowl commercial. Camille, I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. She is big as Jade Cargill, just as beautiful as KJ Cargill, and she's
A better wrestler.
and she's a Caucasian. Where I'm gonna be honest with you, she could be marketed a little more than Jade. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be totally honest. Let's keep it real. It's 12:30 in the morning. Let's be real.
Camille has wrestled overseas though. She's wrestled in New Japan
and she could
and
be
Stardom.
and she's also fits the bill. She could be marketable. Why go to the All Elite Wrestling where there's not that much of a reach, where you have when you have Nick Khan, who has intel with Hollywood commercials with that kind of limelight to get her that stardom. That's why, and she also moved. She moved from Tennessee to Claremont, Florida. That is still Central Florida.
It's FCW country.
No, it's NXT country.
NXT, FCW. You know what I mean?
Right.
FCW is the old territory.
That's NXT country. She didn't move to Jacksonville, and she would have signed with TNA. She just got to stay where she was in Tennessee, Nashville, because that's where TNA is headquartered from. For her moving and selling her house in Tennessee to move to Orlando or the suburbs of Orlando, Florida, and that's only 20 minutes away on the 408 on the highway, and it's just straight up highway where you're gonna just pay a couple of tolls, and you don't get traffic, and you're gonna get to the performance center. That means she's signing for NXT. She didn't answer me because I said, aren't you Kendall Gray going to NXT to the NXT? She didn't answer me. She answered all the other questions, but she didn't answer me. That's okay, because I know this nose is pointy, but I can sniff all the different things coming out there. And I think she's going to sign for NXT. And good for Camille, because I think she's going to get the Dragon Lee treatment. Be a couple of months in NXT, get to the WWE system, and they're going to bump her up by SummerSlam into the main roster.
And I agree with you. And I think that she needed to I think she needs to be on the NXT brand, and I feel like she's worthy enough to be on the NXT brand. And I was hoping when she became a free agent that Hunter would get her signed. Because think of the feuds we're going to get if she does get to NXT. Her and Tiffany Stratton. My God.
Raquel Rodriguez right off the bat.
Bianca Belair.
Two beautiful, big Amazonic women going at it.
Bianca Belair and her.
Yes. Nia Jax, Jade Cargill.
Rhea.
I mean, there's so many. Rhea Ripley. There's a lot of names out there. A Charlotte Flair at the end game with Bayley. You know, there's a plethora of storylines and matches for a Camille to go there.
Charlotte will bring out the best Camille that we will ever see.
Absolutely. I have no doubt.
Charlotte brings the best out in every female she goes against. Everyone. Even Nia Jax.
Yes.
She brought out the best in Nia Jax. But today,
Nia Jax
Rhea Ripley brought it out. Oh, no. Yeah. I got to give her flowers. I may not, we know everybody knocks her. But after seeing her tonight in the main event with Rhea, got to give her flowers. She did a very good job.
Episodic wrestling for the Elimination Chamber. Kudos for WWE putting the women close out Elimination Chamber and having the most
because it was Rhea
women
in her hometown.
Right, having the most women since the Evolution pay-per-view on a card. They did all women delivered. They delivered. I know some people say it was a B with Indy Hartwell, but they started the match when Indy Hartwell when the match didn't even have a move yet, and they were chanting, "This is awesome." The crowd was invested from the very beginning.
But to get a B- on your pre-show match, and then an A on every other match, an A to A- on every other match, you're fine. You know what I mean?
I thought, yeah. And it was chanting, "This is awesome" before Indy even threw him. Before there was a arm elbow tie up, they were saying, "This is awesome," because they appreciate what Indy Hartwell meant to Australia and what she have gone through. I was solely invested in that, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. The whole elimination chamber. There's some people poo-pooing it. Oh, we only had 100 and an hour and some change of wrestling, actual wrestling in a 4-hour show. So what? So
I want to see.
what?
I want to see more of Tiffany Stratton. I
Exactly.
can't wait till she gets to the big time, to the big, to the title picture.
You concluded from Elimination Chamber wanting to see more performers. You wanted to see Indy Hartwell. Let me ask you this: what did you think about the Catch Republic?
Loved it. I actually, I didn't think that they were going to win, but while watching the match, they had me thinking they were going to win the tag titles.
Well, you're invested emotionally. Did you?
Yeah, I got invested because I was like, okay, this match is pretty good, and then it's like, okay, this match is getting better. I'm like, oh my god. And then Dominic doing his little nuances and stuff, and then getting thrown out. When Dominic got thrown out, I was like, they're losing.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Judgment Day is keeping the belts.
You didn't want to go get a drink of soda or a piece of hot dog, or you didn't want to go get a slim. You didn't want to go get a slim. You didn't want to go to get a Slim Jim. You didn't want to go scratch your ass. You just wanted to watch that match. That's exactly
because
that checked the box.
Now think about this: we had a lot of NXT talent that was highlighted on this show. We had Tiffany Stratton, we had Nathan Frazier and Pete Dunne, and we had Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Like, we had a lot of NXT talent that was highlighted on this show. Rhea Ripley, who was an original NXT talent, former NXT heavyweight champion, women's champion, Grayson Waller.
Joe, a lot of NXT from Bianca Belair NXT. You could go Becky Lynch, 4 Horsewoman. You could go with Rhea Ripley, NXT UK to NXT. Nia Jax from like you said, FTW. Again, it's showing you if you trust the process, you don't have to sign the bloated has-beens and from other companies to come in and headline your company, because
no, but when you're a company and you're trying to get, I understand why companies do that. They're trying to get quick buzz, but it's not going to last.
Exactly.
Unless that talent is someone like a Punk.
That's fine.
Punk generated hella buzz because Punk is Punk.
Right.
Doesn't matter where he goes. If Punk went to
TNA.
Let's just say ABC Wrestling Indie Company. That ABC Indie Wrestling Company is going to go from 20,000 viewers to 100,000 viewers overnight.
Like that, yes.
Yep, in a matter of seconds, because it's Punk. The problem is that Tony Khan fucked up in that instance big time. He should never have gotten rid of a top talent like Punk. They should have fixed it and worked on it. But the problem is that, and then look what happened to Jungle Boy. He went over to New Japan on a live show, just popped up out of nowhere, and he tore up his AEW contract on a live show.
I haven't seen him
in the middle of the ring.
I haven't seen him since.
Nope. No, he's been in Japan. He's been in Japan.
But Matt Riddle came in and won the TV title. But Jungle Boy
and Dolph Ziggler won the other championship.
The World Heavyweight title.
Yep. Matt Riddle won the world title. He defeated the president of New Japan.
No. He's a TV champion. Matt Riddle's a TV champion.
I thought they said that he was the world champion.
Matt Riddle is the TV champion, and Dolph Ziggler is the World Heavyweight champion. Double check it. Fact check it.
I'm looking right now. Hold on.
I could bet you dollars for donuts. I could bet you 2 donuts.
Nick Nemeth. I don't want to type Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth. Let's see. Here it is. Nick Nemeth and Matt Riddle capture NJPW gold.
Which ones? Let's go.
2 former WWE stars make good in NJPW. Dolph Ziggler captured the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship from David Finlay at
Correct.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And what did Riddle get? What did Riddle get?
Hold on, I'm scrolling down. Take a second. Nemeth. Matt Riddle defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi to claim the NJPW World Television Championship, which he's the president of New Japan, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Tanahashi.
Tanahashi's the television is the former is the current president, and the former television champion where Matt Riddle is now.
Makes sense that he would drop the title though, because he's president. That's conflict of interest.
Of course, that's fine. That's okay. But yeah, I did say the title's correct. The heavyweight.
You did. But that's still, you have two talents that WWE let go.
That's okay.
Though. Which were super talented though.
I
know Matt Riddle had his problems.
Riddle was a
Matt
headache.
Riddle had his problems.
Poor Katen Katana from the one half of the tag team champions. She went through a headache babysitting Riddle for the WWE. He was a headache, and I'm giving you a peek behind the curtain because she had a babysit Riddle. Riddle was a head case. Riddle was a head case.
He had a problem. He had a problem. He had problems. Let's just put it that way. He had a lot of problems.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. He has to growing up.
But Dolph was a professional.
Yeah, but Dolph, there was nothing there for him at the end of the day. It's good.
He's
for them
done
to
everything.
Let him go. He's done everything. He helped Braun Breaker become heavyweight champion in NXT. There was nothing for him. It's good for him to move on. Let him explore something different. That's great for him. It's good for Mustafa Ali to be a TNA champion now. Good for Mustafa Ali.
He's X Division champion.
Good for him. You know, it wasn't. To be honest with you, it wasn't going to translate into WWE for Mustafa Ali. It wasn't. No. There was nothing. I didn't see nothing great about Mustafa Ali in WWE. Good for him. Reinvent himself. If
his talent, he had talent. He was talented,
but it didn't translate to gravitas, a global entity in the WWE. This guy,
no. And sometimes you got to reinvent yourself to get back to the main stage. Cody Rhodes is a perfect example of that. Cody Rhodes had to leave WWE because of the Stardust crap, and he had to find himself and reinvent himself. And then he did that, and he made a company, and he did this, and he did that, and then he pretty much made his whole aura, and then he went back to WWE as this huge star.
I go with Trinity Fatu as the most short-term wrestler to do it because she just left, almost not even a year, and she's back better than ever. That's the most quickest turnaround.
Cody did a long road.
Cody did the long road, but Trinity did the short road, and she came back, and I think she's greater than ever, personally, with Trinity Fatu.
I agree. I feel like that's any talent. Even CM Punk, he was gone for a long time. He went to AEW. He did a little bit of stuff at AEW with a little bit of stuff in New Japan. And he came back to WWE and he was a little bit better for learning about other things and getting his feet wet again.
Cody's long road is going to propel him for the next 10 years or 5.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
That's a different trajectory.
I see Cody Rhodes, and you were a Hulkamaniac like I was growing up. Okay, I'm 42, going on 43. I see Cody Rhodes being a Hulk Hogan.
No, Cody Rhodes is the face of wrestling right now, but
he's going to be that Hulk. He's going to be that Hulk Hogan. He's going to be the larger than life character.
If he's going to be larger than life, they gotta let Roman break Hogan's streak because it's going to be even bigger for Cody's legacy down the road. That's just me. Again, I'm not opposed of Cody becoming world heavyweight champion. I'm just want to see Roman break Hogan's record because when Cody does beat him, there is so much pedigree when he beats him because damn, you beat the most longest reigning post WrestleMania champion of all time. It's like when the Super Bowl. No one talks about before Super Bowl 1 of the championship. No one talks about YL Kittle and this and no, they talk about from Super Bowl 1 and beyond, from Joe Namath, Super Bowl 2 or 3 when
Well,
he beat and so forth, and all the records. No one talks about pre 1967 when the Super Bowl. No one gives a shit. The rest he
yeah,
beat at
nobody
WrestleMania.
just like nobody talks about. A lot of people don't talk about the Iron Sheik.
No one talks about the Fabulous Moolah. She's the longest reigning champion, period. Of all,
Yes.
she's what she did, what 50 years of women's champion. No one gives a shit about that. It's because of, you know what? Right now, people think about WrestleMania. That's why I kind of want to see Roman break that record. So when Cody breaks it and Roman fights Rock, you could still have a big storyline because the longest reigning post WrestleMania champion Roman Reigns taking on the Dwayne the Rock Johnson for the head of the table. That means something. Now Cody, because it's so much
What
there.
we want, and what makes sense are two different things. WWE is going to get that belt off of Roman so Roman can go on a long vacation.
I don't think he's gonna
He's
be on a
gonna be
long
gone.
vacation. I don't think he's gonna be on a long vacation. I think he's just gonna he's gonna be around, but it's just again, it's just they just gotta let him they just gotta let him finish the story, dude. That's all it is. Just have patience. It's Cody's gonna win it. It's gonna feel so sweet when he does.
It's been like 2 years. I mean, and the sideline when he got sidelined with that injury, it was like his whole momentum was just derailed. It felt like because of it. But when he actually came out and competed with that torn pectoral muscle that he had up there, all bruised up and shit.
Oh, that
I
was
had
great.
so much fucking respect for him. Nobody expected him to come out there and perform, but he said he had to do it. He said that he wasn't forced to do it. He had to do it for himself. Still there?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. But you realize he had to do that for himself because I feel like he felt that if he didn't, the fans wouldn't respect him. I feel like he lost the fans if he didn't.
I mean,
mentally, I feel like that's where he was at mentally. He didn't want to let the fans down.
I get it. Hopefully they could, let's see how WrestleMania fills out. Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, watch those videos I sent you about Dreadmare, and you'll see all the vignettes that have been coming up in NXT. Like if you look at the times they were posted, he was posting the new videos like the same day or next day after those vignettes aired.
No problem, man.
So you can critique those a little bit, but they are superbly done by Dallas, and you could hear him talking, so you know it's him. So it's like he superbly is doing this strategic thing where he's like getting in people's heads before he's even coming out. He's building that brand.
I'm here. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna get off a minute because I gotta go. Actually,
I'm gonna get off.
All right. So thank you guys for, thank you for having me on. Thank you, Alex, for having me on your platform, as well as Mr. Joe, Dennis. Salute to you, Dennis. Appreciate it. Also, Chris, as well, from Midfit Nation. Appreciate everyone here from the PUWF podcast. Thank you for letting me on with you. Kane the Destroyer as well. Thank you, guys. May the sports be with you. We appreciate it. We'll talk some more wrestling down the line. Guys, don't let the life pin you. Always get over in life and always live the gimmick. So thank you again. I appreciate it.
Don't forget, Sports Jedi Network, BX Sports. Make sure you guys are following, subscribing, watching. They do wrestling talk. They also cover basketball. They do some Knicks watch-alongs. So if you like some basketball, you like the New York Knicks, definitely keep an eye for that as well.
All right. Peace out. Have a good night.
So, have a good night, guys.
You got it.
Yeah.